really weird how it got really quiet for a second there. But that's okay, guys, because we're back with another episode. I'm Ray Taylor, and that is my co-host.
I'm Keith Spurlock. Ray, how is it weird when you're the one with the volume control?
It's not volume. It's just like this pad, this like thing, and I move my finger across the axes, and it does like different echoes and like things and reverbs. It's like really crazy, trippy shit, Keith. I couldn't explain it to you with words.
But you were still the one controlling it, so you're like, that got weird. And
clearly, I suck at doing different things.
You're the one that made it weird, man.
I know. That's, well, and I'm continuing with the trend of weirdness. As we're not even going to mention that there's a guest on the show. We're just going to keep talking.
You don't have to. I'm not that important.
Yeah, his mic stand is really weird. But it's working. It makes
his mic's too thin for it.
He's probably the tallest or one of the tallest guests we've had on the show. Not that it matters being an audio and podcast, but the way his mic stand is set up makes it look like, he's a little person, kind of just.
I'm a little person, guys. Don't let Ray fool you.
Sucking the dicks of giants.
Yeah. He just tells you guys that so when you meet me, you don't laugh at me because I'm so short.
It's like Joe Rogan standing next to fucking, God damn it. Oh, Shaq. There you go. Yeah, naked. They're both naked.
Pick a tall guy. He's like, oh, yeah, Shaq. Yeah.
I'm like Cotton from King of the Hill.
There you go.
I don't have shins.
Well, that old injury from back in the day.
It's a war injury.
It's a war injury, yeah.
So this episode, Drew Sample, I don't know if we mentioned that. Drew Sample's our guest.
Hey, guys.
From the Sample Hour podcast and many other podcasts, or Sample Hour Network. I don't know how you define, like, the feed is the Sample Hour.
Yeah, I don't really know what it is, Ray. Like, honestly, like when we started it, like I was sitting down, I was trying to figure out what I was gonna do. And
when you started, you were sitting down?
Yeah. Okay. I was sitting down with no sus, and we are like, what should we call this? He's like, just call it the Sample Hour, your last name. Then it can just be a sample of everything. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
It's a good thing you guys were sitting down.
Yeah, we weren't standing up. We couldn't have thought the same way. We had to be sitting down for it to take place. And so now I'm also a co-host on radio, which is weird. So my friend Nathan Frazier was like, do you want to be a co-host with me once a month? So now I'm a co-host on Live Free FM as well.
So there's this thing called radio?
Yeah, so it's internet radio, but then it also gets it's simulcast on UCY.tv. And also a radio station in Denver. And it also said that there's syndication in New York, too. I don't know if it's still the case. I'll have to dig deeper and see. But, yeah, it's pretty fun. It's different being live, for sure. Like on I don't know. For some reason, when I was going to do radio, for some reason, it was this weird thing. I'm like, well, I've been on, Get in the Corner live. I've been on Inspired Disorder. We did the 24-hour podcast where Ray Taylor and I just podcasted for hours and watched Keith get hammered, and still hasn't eaten those mushrooms on air like he promised. But
you don't know. You haven't listened to all the episodes. It might have done secretly.
No, you haven't, because it would have been a big deal. It would have been a big deal.
Somebody would have talked about it, Keith.
Yes,
I'm so glad that you're the only reason you remember is because you pissed your pants.
I pissed my pants, and I said, "Look, I'm going to piss my pants if somebody pays."
You followed through,
and I followed through, and I'm supposed to piss my pants again. But nobody said anything because 2 people paid, so we'll just forget about it.
See?
I'm not going to piss my pants again until Keith does mushrooms.
I made promises like 18 beers into a podcast that I just really couldn't keep. I did eat those mushrooms, just not on the air. I don't think it'd make for a good podcast.
Yeah, that would be my excuse too. Yeah. Pissing my pants doesn't make for anything fun for anybody.
I disagree. I would enjoy both of you pissing your pants simultaneously while on mushrooms.
Yeah.
That's just because you want to lay underneath us while it happens.
No.
Yeah.
No, Keith.
Yeah.
No.
As he nods his head, yes. Oh.
Keith doesn't know anything.
So
So you're doing the radio thing.
Doing the radio thing now. Yeah, man, just trying to stay active. Like if somebody's like, "Hey, I want you to be on my show," I'm like, "Cool." Still trying to get guests. That's pretty much it, man. I just try to do whatever I find that's interesting at the time, whatever I'm reading. I try to, like, now that we have this thing called a podcast, like, before, when I was into weird shit, I would just be by myself and be into weird shit, or just different shit. I shouldn't say weird shit. Yeah. But now it's like I can just reach out to somebody and be like, hey, I have a podcast. Do you want to be a guest? And surprisingly, most people are like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Or they just don't respond. And at that time, you just...
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of rejection. If they don't want to, they just don't respond. Yeah. That's fine. I wish that could be like how Hitting on Girls went.
No,
yeah. Like, hey, how's it going? Would you like to go out sometime? They just turn around and walk away. Be like, all right, I can deal with that, instead of being like, no, ugh. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Then you just ask, why not? What's wrong with it?
Yeah, as you follow behind him, it's like, hey.
Wait.
I got other words. I can do this.
After that devastation, could you crush me by picking me apart piece by piece, please? Why not?
You just gotta look at it like an opportunity to grow from it. Then maybe you can be like, yeah, I didn't want to be with her anyways, but
or you're just like, I ran into a lesbian.
Yeah, I ran into it. She must be lesbian, because how could she not want me?
Yeah, it's like, clearly, I have mirrors. I've seen this. Okay,
I'm a sex. You just get off on self-deprecation.
I might be a little overweight, but
tear me down. Yeah, that'll love it.
I'm producing still. My friend Greg Huntermark's The Guru podcast. I gotta talk to this dude. He runs the Inspired Disorder Collective about maybe putting it on the Inspired Disorder Collective. It's a pretty good podcast. And yeah, still doing. I gotta get with Trip Berg to get the House of Fuckery going, and the Terrible Cast too. That's kind of on hold, but that's gonna come back. So I mean, that's pretty much it right now. I'm still doing other shit too. Like, we're still trying to do. I don't know, just trying to stay busy, man. Like, it's like, be the star of your own movie, right? Like, that's the whole point of all this.
I guess it's like, is that everybody's?
I'm like the key grip on my movie right now.
Mine's like a sad indie movie.
Do some crazy stuff. Keith's in Ohio right now,
which is
and
already
Ray's about to move to Ohio, and Keith's like, well, that's convenient because I'm gonna move to Texas.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Ray's coming. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like, gross. That's so gross. I know we haven't met, but I don't want to start now.
Yeah. Maybe we could start doing a podcast together. I think not. Yeah. I think it keeps it special to just do it on Skype in separate rooms.
Yeah, I think
it's like, I like watching you get drunk, Keith, but I don't want to be around you when you get drunk.
Yeah, who does?
He looks like he smells pretty bad when he gets drunk, and it's just, I have a very sensitive
when I get
nose.
Drunk, though. It's a weird, my body secretes drunk fluids.
Yeah.
The best was your Skype photo that you had forever, where you really looked like you had like cerebral palsy and you're just sitting in a chair. Yeah.
That was like every podcast until he had to go to his bunker. The only reason there's a different view of Keith is because he had to evacuate the home to get internet at his bunker. So he's actually different. He was exactly the same. He has to move a little bit more there, I think.
Yeah.
He doesn't look.
Chair.
Even when we had video, he looked like his profile picture because he just didn't.
He had to like sit in this weird angle to get that internet connection from his neighbor.
Now, see, I was going for the Stephen Hawking look. I saw that they were making that Stephen Hawking movie, and this was years back, and I was like really trying to get into the part. Obviously, I didn't get it, so.
Well, that's weird too, because when I think young Stephen Hawking, for some reason I just like Keith Spurlock all the time.
I mean, you see it, right?
Yeah, you sleep smart as fuck, bro. Every time you sleep, people get inspired. String theory.
String theory. All right, Keith, talk about string theory. 30 seconds. Summarize it for us right now.
Bam.
It takes me a long time to use the viewfinder to get my voice box moving, so 30 seconds I might get out. Well, string theory.
Aliens.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Stephen Hawking. Quick 30 seconds from Stephen Hawking.
So glad they didn't cast you in that movie, man. Not that I have any desire to see it. I heard it sucks, but
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
Movies are like really, like, I still love movies, man. Like, but it's just like that. Like, some of them still suck me in. Like, I saw that trailer for the new Jurassic Park today. Like, that looks pretty awesome. Like, I'm probably gonna go see it.
Yeah, I saw that today too. But all I could think about was the last Jurassic Park that was a pile of shit. Like a giant...
it should have been good. It was like, come on, Sam Neill was the likable character in the movie. Jeff Goldblum carried the second movie way better than Sam Neill did.
Yeah.
And Sam Neill slowly went out of existence.
Well, the third one was all about the kid, this like Boy Scout kid who could blow through like petrified vocal cords of a dinosaur in the specific way to call for help.
Yeah.
Like that was the spoiler, people. Spoiler, sorry. That's how they say
Man,
get
I haven't
saved.
seen that. No, I'm not gonna.
I guarantee you it's life-changing.
I took a girl on a date to go see it, and like
Doesn't T-Rex rampage through San Diego?
No, that's the second one.
Yeah.
So the third one, they created this dinosaur that kills a T-Rex because they like wanted to set it up that this is a badass dinosaur. So what are we gonna do? He's gonna kill a T-Rex. It is this weird looking dinosaur. That's all I kind of remember. There's actually some like people that weren't famous at the time. And then now they are famous, and just like how Vince Vaughn was in the second one, I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember that at all. But I don't really...
no, it's like, man, this movie sucks, and you're like, okay, well, there's actually some. It's kind of like the Alien movies, like all of them. Actually, all 4 Alien movies were directed by pretty badass directors, like Ridley Scott, and then James Cameron, and then it was David Fincher for the third one.
Which I didn't really like that one.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I liked it.
Wait, was that the one where the prison camp or the prison planet? I liked that one.
Yeah, I did too. And then the fourth one was like interesting, and that was Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who made like Amelie, and he's made like all these really good like indie like French movies.
Yeah.
Or The Lost City of Children. I don't know if you guys saw that one. That was pretty good too. But
was that the one with Ron Perlman?
Yeah, Ron Perlman's in it, and
I watched some of that. That was super creepy. I really got to be in the. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all in French. And
I got to really be in the mood. I got through most of it, but man, some subtitled movies I really got to be in the mood for.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's up there. Well, what's weird too is like I wonder if these movies are better because we don't actually hear the actors delivering the lines.
I think what's funny is Ron Perlman, you can tell clearly does not speak French. So they give him like 1 or 2 words. Like every dialogue is him just saying yes and or where at.
He plays like a big dumb guy too. So it was appropriate. He does a good job in that movie though, and that's a really weird movie.
So weird.
Yeah,
those thug ass kids. It's so weird.
Thug kids were like, because it's like this weird, and then there's like the weird cult that collects the children, and then there's the other cult. It's a really weird.
And all his cloned sons. Oh,
yeah,
weird.
Yeah, that guy's in all of that guy's movies too. Jean-Pierre Jeunet's movies. That guy's in all of them. He's in like Delicatessen and Micmacs and. I don't know. I like that director.
I just saw that Ron Perlman was in it, and I'm like, he does a lot of cool movies, and so I click on it. I'm like, fucking French.
Like, I don't
give me some bad dubbing or something. Fuck, man, I don't want to read this movie.
Oh yeah,
bad dubbings never work.
It depends, man. If you're watching an old Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah, that's
bad
fine.
dubbing adds to
Operation Condor,
First Strike, any of that shit. Rumble in the Bronx.
What was funny was when Jackie Chan first got popular, they re-released all of his movies in the theater in the U.S. and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a new Jackie Chan movie," but he looks younger. This is so weird.
And he does crazier shit.
Yeah, so in the U.S., Operation Condor is actually the second movie, and then Operation Condor 2 is actually the first movie.
Oh man,
nice.
Yeah,
I know. I'm filled with these useless movie facts about foreign films that have come to the United States.
Have you seen Troll Hunters then?
Troll Hunter was awesome. Troll Hunter was one of my favorites.
I told Ray about that movie, and he won't watch it. And it was a fucking good movie.
Dude. It's so good. I watched it. I got it off of. I was still using Usenet at the time. There was still. It's like called NZB Matrix. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Usenet. It's like. So I switched from torrents because torrents were kind of getting heavy, and I went to Usenet. Because I read this article in Gizmodo, and it's like, oh, it's all encrypted. It's part of the deep web. So you had to get the subscription to for the reader. So it reads these things called news groups off these bulletin boards. But then like the MPAA got like hip to it, and they like started like cutting down all these, like they terminate links as soon as it come out. Like I think the UFC was actually the first to do it. because UFC's links all died first.
UFC has kind of taken over the movie industry as far as at least my experience in previous years. Nothing recently, but they were like going hard on like.
Oh yeah, well they're that company's filled with pretty smart people.
Yeah, but at the same time, being able, it's like as a fan.
Yeah,
it's like I'm gonna watch it if I'm gonna watch it. It's not like it's gonna be if I could afford it, I'll pay for the fucking thing because it's more convenient. I can watch it live.
Or if you have a good card, I'll pay for an awesome card. But like, I paid for a bunch of. Well, I always pay for my UFCs, but at the time back then, I'd pay for the good UFCs, or I'd pay for UFCs, and I remember it was like George St. Pierre versus Dan Hardy, and that one sucked. And I remember, and then the next one was the Abu Dhabi one, which was like Henzo versus Matt Hughes.
Yeah, those were that was a horrible one.
But that was also Anderson versus like Damian Maia.
So
that was terrible. Yeah, and I just remember having like paying $60, having people over. Nobody gave me money to watch it, like because nobody could afford to. Because I was like, yeah, come on over. I'm getting the pay-per-view, and it sucked, man. Like it just sucked. Like it was a shitty pay-per-view. It was just like, and then I'm like, man, I'm not gonna do this again. And then I just started, becoming an internet pirate again.
So Usenet, I remember like getting into that.
Oh wait! Back to Troll Hunter being the best fucking Norwegian movie.
Yeah. So it was on
MTV. Okay.
And it said Troll Hunter, and I'm like, this looks interesting because it always had like the IMDb link, and it shows like the cover art, and I'm like, this movie looks cool. So I downloaded it. And then I remember like one morning I was hungover because I used to always be drunk. And Wes came down and we watched it. And we're like, this movie's fucking awesome. And it was in this bad dubbed. It was like in this dubbed English. And that's a movie that actually is good dubbed in English.
I watched it with subtitles.
Yeah, I watched. So yeah, because on Netflix and Prime they don't have the dubbed version. And so I watched it, and I thought it was awesome. It was like a mockumentary. It was a fake documentary style, and that's when that was right after Cloverfield, and that style really started to like pick up. Mm-hmm. And it was done really well. Like I really liked it. Like it's definitely worth checking out, Ray, or anyone in the
effects
audience.
Were all right too. I was thinking that it was going to be super shitty, and then
effects are really good in it.
They saved all their money up for that nut shot. Right at the end, they're like, a lot of it's like trees falling down and people running, and it's like, oh my god. Then they finally show it, and you're like, not bad. I mean, it's not the best. Not.
I like too how like the government knows about that, and I don't want to spoil too much, but like the government knows about the trolls, and it's like this cover up, and it's this government cover up. I mean, it's like everything. I like the movie quite a bit, so we'll just leave it at that. I like the movie. Ray, you should watch it. You'll enjoy it.
I know. Well, it's one of those things where because it's subtitled, maybe I should find the
dubbed version.
They speak some broken English in it.
Oh, okay, so a few lines I'll be able to understand without having to read.
I'll make it happen because they have like the radio dub too, which is good. So you want to, because it's a lot of stuff to read, and
radio dub.
Yeah, it's well worth it. Right. But like Pan's Labyrinth, I would never want to watch dubbed. Like that's a movie I wouldn't want to watch dubbed.
Most movies I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, like Hero. Do you remember that Jet Li movie? That was a really good movie too, and it wasn't like just a Jet Li action movie, which I like those too. But it was a really interesting movie.
Kind of like a Crouching Tiger kind of a thing, right? Yeah, like where it was like the mythology of it all.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like it was like a conspiracy to take out the emperor, and they knew how effective he could get to kill the emperor, and that was the whole point, was just to kill that guy. Mm-hmm. So like cool so they had all these different scenarios and stories of like they show like what Jet Li's story is, and then the emperor says this is what I think happened, and then it shows what actually happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man, Jet Li kind of had a career just after fucking Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan came in there like, we have other Asians
that also are good at wushu.
Yeah, and it's different style. Wasn't the comedic, but he didn't. There was a lot of movies that he came out with that weren't good.
Yeah, well, he was getting paid. I don't blame him.
He's a legit martial artist.
Yeah, Jackie Chan was like a movie martial artist, but
his background was like theatrical too. Jackie Chan, like he grew up.
Jet
in
Li
the
was
theater.
like a world champion at one point.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody fact check it right now.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Get back to us later.
We're going back in time. We're going back to fucking. Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
This
You
is
fact check us.
We are Google free on this show, okay? There's no confirmations, there's no research. We just make shit up.
Here, Al.
Yeah.
I think he was actually trained by his mom, though, out of all seriousness. So I think Jet Li learned wushu from his mom.
He learned how to smack a bitch right from the beginning.
Yeah.
His mom was a badass bitch.
So she was tough to smack.
She was the original badass bitch. Yeah, so
I brought mama from the train.
Exactly like that.
Yeah, I've been actually watching, like, I feel like most of the good movies that I like are actually ones that are coming out like straight to Prime or straight to Netflix, like straight to on demand. Like I just saw this this movie. It's kind of like a mixture of like Isaac Asimov and Philip K. Dick style science fiction. Like they took their two kind of worlds and put them together. It's called Automata. It's with Antonio Banderas, and Javier Bardem does a voice to one of the robots. Mm-hmm. That's a cool movie. Like I really liked it. A lot of people shit on it because they're like, "Oh, this is just like iRobot and Bicentennial Man." It's like, yeah, because it's based off of Isaac Asimov's laws, which I don't know if you guys know, but whenever you watch a movie about like when androids are a part of human society or human culture and they have these rules to live by, well, that author wrote those rules like way back in like the 40s.
So he's like the robot Jesus.
Yeah, well, like when
it comes to reality and they actually build it, we're like, we're gonna adopt these rules set down upon us from this author of great knowledge.
Kind of, yeah, but it makes sense. Like they always have to, they need to, like they're programmed to protect themselves, but never to hurt humans. Their whole purpose is to help humans. And there's always there's a lot of good movies with that.
I don't know. The Terminator didn't seem like he was helping.
Different author.
No, he said anytime they use cyborgs.
Well, no,
anytime they have the rules. That one didn't have the rules.
Whenever they have the rules, like even in like Moon or.
I'm sure that the writer of Skynet had those rules written in there, but Skynet was just like, fuck that.
Well, it's kind of like
like, hey, don't attack us, and they're like, meh.
Well, I kind of look at like stuff like Terminator and stuff like that. Like that's humans. That's like the projection. That's like the fear of humans. Like that's humans' fear of their own creation. That's what it is projected, and that's what it ultimately comes to. It's like, oh, robots are going to kill us. Why would they keep us? But in reality, like they're not humans. Like why would they kill us? Like why would they go out of their way to kill us? Like I think they would just try to.
Maybe.
I really do think they try to help you.
Would they try to have sex with us? Like
I don't know. I mean, they'd probably be programmed that way. I mean, like pleasure bots and stuff like that. I mean, like I think Futurama is a lot more dead on with a lot of science fiction than a lot of things.
If I'm gonna get to have sex with robots in the future, I'm all right with that. I mean, if they want to rule, but I still get to have awesome sex.
Those will be like the most evolved robots because they'll be the first ones, like assistant robots, like something that we can enslave to do shit for us for free, and then sex robots. Those are the first two. Those will be the most evolved robots ever.
Yeah. Did you guys ever see Westworld? Mm-mm. All right, so Michael Crichton, before he wrote Jurassic Park, was actually wrote for movies and was a film director, and he made this movie called Westworld, and it's this really badass, ahead of its times movie. Like James Brolin's in it, and like it's basically like this theme park, but it's all androids. So they have all these different worlds. So they have like a Western world, they have like a Roman world, and they have like these different worlds. And then like something happens and the robots start like they're programmed to never kill the humans, and then something happens and then they start killing the humans. So they made a sequel called Future World, but he didn't write it. But now they're actually making a HBO series, and Christopher Nolan's brother, Jonathan Nolan, who wrote all the movies with Christopher Nolan, he's writing and directing the series. So it's going to be pretty badass on HBO. I'm pretty excited about that. I just saw Interstellar as well. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. That's a fucking badass movie. Like I want to go see it again.
Yeah, is that like Blowjob World?
Kind of. It's kind of like that. I mean,
but they do.
I like that movie.
It's like Blowjob World if blowjobs took like 3 hours and they're set in space with, actors.
All right,
that's Blowjob World.
Someone's had to have got a blowjob in space, right?
Fucking hope so, bro.
There's chicks and dudes on the ISS, right? Somebody sucked a dick in space.
I don't know. I think that would take some further investigation. I think that's definitely something worth looking into, though. But they do had in Westworld, though. That's what I was getting at. They did have like they had like robots that their whole purpose was to like pleasure the humans sexually.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
God,
you think
I
of
love
like
the future.
What do humans do to other humans that's illegal now is enslave people for work and sex. So it's like, of course, if we're gonna make something that does that, those are the first two things that we'll do.
Well, yeah, I mean, in like the last time, one of the times I was on here before, we talked about like the porn industry is why HTML5 is the standard.
Yeah.
And like why Blu-rays became the standard, why like so much stuff in technology becomes the standard, and it's like the under part of humanity that we're not supposed to talk about, and it's but that's always a driving factor is like our obsession.
I'm really glad that porn is progressive though in technology. Like they're already doing Oculus Rift porn, which means that shit's here to stay. They're doing 3D porn for 3D TVs. Like those were people didn't know if those were going to stay. All of a sudden they're
3D
like,
TVs are not staying. Let me tell you this right now. 3D TVs are not staying. No, they're not, because nobody's buying them.
They're cashing out 3D movies, but they're definitely not staying. And one reason I would say is like Sony. Well, one thing too, when you watch 3D on like a 4K Sony, they use like passive glasses.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you use passive, it actually cuts the resolution in half. So you're not even getting like a 4K 3D from it. So there's a lot of reasons to it, and like it's, I don't know.
From a consumer standpoint, people don't want to wear fucking glasses, whether they're passive or battery operated, while you're watching a movie. It's like that's just not going to happen. So unless they figure out how to do like glasses free kind of hologram 3D or whatever, then maybe. But no, and it's only movies. It's not like you can watch the UFC in 3D.
No. So I don't even know.
Although they have been taping it in 3D for a long time. I remember Dana White saying something about that.
Yeah, I think they're filming in 4K maybe, but I don't think they're doing, because they would have to have different types of cameras. They would have huge cameras for 3D.
Yeah, and they do that when they tape. Well, they do like the live. Like you can go to a movie theater and watch UFCs like live, pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And boxing fights, which I don't know why you would. I was this weekend when we were watching Frankie Edgar versus Cub Swanson. I was like, oh fuck, Pacquiao's fighting tonight. Didn't even know. I watched that fight too, and the dude he fought, like he knocked him down like twice every single round.
6 times, I think, total.
It seemed more than that when you were watching the fight. And the dude just was like a good boxer, but he had no power. And Pacquiao, I mean, to me, it was just like a gimme fight for Pacquiao.
Yeah. Boxing.
Yeah, but like the only two boxers I watch are Mayweather and Pacquiao, and I don't even really like watching either of them. Like
they'll never fight each other.
Maybe when nobody cares as much, like if they did it now,
they're getting old.
Yeah,
I would so much rather seen this fight 5 years ago.
Yeah, so they might do it when they need a paycheck. They're like, all right, one last paycheck, let's do this. But the last boxing fucking match or whatever that I saw was when Pacquiao got his ass knocked out
by Marquez.
Yeah, which was
when he killed him in the ring. That was awesome.
Yeah, I was like, well, that was an exciting boxing match, but I only tuned in for that one fight. It's not like I gave a shit about the card.
No,
I don't.
No, what was interesting though was there was another Filipino guy fighting, and I swear to God, I was like, that looks like Pacquiao. Is that Pacquiao? And then they showed Pacquiao. I'm like, nope. All right, I'm apparently racist because I could.
It's not racist when they all look alike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of is, but
it kind of is. Yeah, it's definitely.
Well, you have an untrained eye, man. That's what it is. It's not racism. You just haven't stared at Asian people or Filipinos long enough to really get all the distinctions in their look. You're just like, oh, he's short, fella.
Also, too, like, how much of it is that guy wanting to look like Pacquiao?
Yeah. Or them marketing somebody that looks like Pacquiao that's in boxing, and they're like, well, let's pump his record up and maybe he can take over. Like, we'll just kind of confuse people or some shit.
Like after Bruce Lee, where there were 100 different Bruce Lees and Bruce Lies and
Bruce Lees. Yeah.
Lee L.I. or L1E. Bruce La.
Jet Li's aunts and uncles.
Yeah. Like, they're already
his
trained,
mom.
Bro.
Hey, Mom.
His mom was actually one of the fake Bruce Lees.
Yeah.
Mom, Bruce Lee's picking on me.
I
Come
tell
on
you
here.
what we got. We got somebody really good for this flick here. We got the trainer of the Jet Li family. We got the trainer, the mom. Here we go. We're gonna put an afro on her. Wait.
His mom's name was Sarah, too.
Yeah, that's where the syrup came from. They're like, we got to mark this to the U.S., man. Let's change it from an Asian woman to a black woman.
Just change the Lee. Not L-I-L-E-E.
Yeah.
Like Bruce Lee.
So I pulled up Wikipedia of Jet Li. I know we don't Google, so I Wikipedia'd. And Jet Li's mom definitely didn't train him.
I'm sure she trained him to do some things, maybe
So
poop.
some asshole told me that in college before like Google was really a thing, like freshman year, and I believed him.
Yeah.
You hear Jet Li's mom trained his ass? She used to choke motherfuckers out. I heard she beat Bruce Lee in a street fight.
I don't remember him ever using chokeholds in movies, Keith. So let's at least be realistic.
I don't know. I'm sure he did.
Whatever, he beat people up with fire hoses and stuff like that. Oh, that was Jackie
That was
Chan.
Jackie Chan. Jesus.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking. Shit, what you talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Is the dude that ran really funny? Like, he was always running and had the ponytail.
What's that?
Jet Li, right?
Yeah, he had that ponytail for a while. That was his look.
And then he cornered Anderson Silva that one time.
That was Steven
crazy.
Seagal.
No. Steven Seagal's the dude that has the mullet with the jeans. Right?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Sorry, guys. Just keep going with the thing. I thought we were joking around. We were joking around about being misinformed, and you guys got really serious about me being stupid.
Hey, how dare you joke around Ray Taylor? That's our
Don't
job.
Don't joke about Sensei.
Yeah, don't joke about.
I was hanging out with this guy one time.
Somebody has to be the straight man here, and that's you.
Clearly, you've never seen the show.
Oh.
Clearly, you never.
Because he's the gayest dude on here.
That might be the case, but it's okay. I still love you, buddy.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I still support him. I mean,
no judging. Yeah.
I don't want to live in the same state as him, but you know,
soon.
Generally, our guests are the straight men or women.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But in this case, we'll make an exception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's me. Fuck. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, we were supposed to meet up a couple weeks ago, but
somebody passed out.
Somebody took till 2 in the fucking morning. Like I thought.
Yeah. Sorry that on our 9-hour drive back to Toronto. Toronto, you know.
Yeah,
driving through Canada, and we're like, yeah, dude, we're at the border, and then we hit like all this traffic in between Toledo. Like they closed down part of 75, so we had to go like these back roads. And then I'm messaging Keith, hey Keith, you still awake? You still awake? And we're like, all right, looks like we're going home.
I started drinking at about 7.
Go figure.
You can't start with fucking talking shit and then end with making excuses, Keith. It doesn't work that way.
I don't think I've ever hung out with Keith when he didn't have a case of Coors Light with him.
Well, you know.
I'm not drinking now.
No.
Yeah, but he's not there right now.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I think whenever I've hung out, you've always brought a case of Coors Light or drank a lot of Coors Light. And it's okay. I love you. It's part of it. It's part of the Keith Spurlock experience.
He's just really scared of werewolves and slightly misinformed. That's all. Silver bullets.
I'm good at drinking. What
Come on, guys. Wake up.
Silver bullets.
Jesus Christ.
Damn it, I missed that joke. Stop being clever, Ray, and expecting me to understand what you're saying.
I thought somebody else besides Keith would be able to, and apparently I was wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry, bud. I'm not that smart. I'm really good at pretending.
Oh, well, you're not even doing that very well. You just come out.
See, that's what I'm
straight out.
saying. So a dumb person would assume that he was good at pretending, and he's clearly not.
Now you're confusing me. I don't know what the fuck.
I'm confusing myself. So, anyways.
So, anyways, now we're all gay.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that either.
No. Well, Keith's got. I don't know what that is. Keith
I don't know why Keith has the head of a mannequin.
He's
male.
He's like getting training for the robot apocalypse of sex robots to come out. What were the robots called in Austin Powers?
Fembots.
Fembots. There you go.
Yeah.
Boom. It's the inspiration for it.
Wouldn't that be cool though to have like your own assistant robot? Like, have you guys seen Robot and Frank with Frank Langella?
Yeah.
That's a good movie, man. Like,
good.
I really enjoyed it.
Have you seen Her?
No.
That's a really good one. Does that
have anything to do with robots?
It's about operating systems. It's about operating systems, like a Siri operating system, but in the age of like computers where they're really good, and it's like every operating system's your own personal assistant. And then it gets into a
movie
place
with Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yeah, and what's her face is the voice, who's really hot. Can't think of her name. She was in Avengers movies for some reason.
Scarlett Johansson.
Bam.
You know what movie wasn't really good? Lucy. That was not good.
Haven't seen that one.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, there's some cool concepts and some cool ideas, and I think I know what Luke Besson was trying to do, but it's like he got to a certain point in the movie. Like, there's just, it's like there was something in the movie, and she's like typing on 4 computers at the same time. Like, oh, she's superhuman. She can type on 4 computers. That she must be really smart because it takes a smart person to type on a normal computer.
That sounds
it was like they were just reaching too much, man. It's like
the 4 computer thing sounds like a fucking 1990s trope of like,
yeah.
Was it Daryl? There's like all these robot shows where like the family has like a family show with they had a robot son.
Yeah.
And it was like shit like that. It's like, oh no, he typed so fast the thing fucking caught on fire. Or Superman did.
When I saw the previews for Lucy, I thought it reminded me a lot of Ultraviolet. Just the way it looked.
You would think, but no. And
Ultraviolet sucked too.
I used to love Morgan Freeman, but after watching movies like Oblivion and Lucy and
he's old. He just wants some money now.
Yeah, he's getting paid with his fake hand.
He's got a fake hand?
Yeah. He got in a car accident. He lost his hand, so they don't show like his left hand. Like
yeah, that's
years ago, man. If you just no,
not gonna Google it. If you just imagine
Son
for a
of
moment,
bitch. I refuse to believe it.
Just imagine for a moment in the land of Drew Sample, where
Morgan Freeman jerked me off yesterday. How are you gonna say he had a fake hand?
Does he use the two-handed method though, Keith? I mean,
obviously, or else I wouldn't.
He has a fake left hand now, so he wears a compression glove on his left hand. That's what they say, but it just looks like a fake hand. It looks like
Chubbs Peterson.
I would say it's more like Woody Harrelson.
Does he have a wood hand?
And
Woody Harrelson and what?
Kingpin.
Oh, that's not good. That's really bad. That was
such a bad prosthetic.
Actually, I'm thinking of the dude in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, that's Chubbs Peterson.
Yeah.
Chubbs? Oh no, he doesn't have a
horrible hand.
No, he doesn't have a wooden hand.
That was the horrible one.
I love how low budget Happy Gilmore is. It's obviously just a dude holding a wooden hand.
Oh yeah. Well, so many.
The arm is like a foot longer.
Dude, that's what you see.
I loved when Adam Sandler was still funny.
Yeah, but that could have been we were young and stupid too.
Yeah. Well, what's weird is like that humor was really popular back then, and now like even if you go back and watch, you're like
everybody was stupid in the 90s. Everything was hilarious when you were young in the 90s. Although, I don't know, for the grown-up me, they still stand up. Like, I'll rewatch that shit, and it's like, what the fuck was I thinking?
I can still watch Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison.
Oh, fuck yeah. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. They still, I don't know if they're as funny as they were back then, but it's not like I put them on like some other movies that I can't think of. That's like some movie that I liked as a kid, and I put it on, and it's like, what the fuck?
Every time I hear someone say The Price is Right, in my head I always go, The Price is Wrong, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how there's also this thing with comedians wanting to be like badasses in their movies so they could beat people up, and it's like, yeah, that would never happen in real life. Eddie Murphy went through that stage too.
Yeah,
Dane
but
Cook's first movie he was in was Double Trouble with
oh, Jesus, Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman.
Oh, Double Impact with Van Damme and Dennis Rodman.
That was a good one too. That was wait, Double Impact? Wait,
no, Double Impact was with Van Damme and his twin brother Van Damme.
Double Team. It was Double Team because they were playing on like a basketball or something, like a sports name. That's what it was.
It was a spin-off of White Men Can Jump.
Yeah, I just tweeted you guys a photo of
Oh, Jesus.
Morgan Freeman with his fake hand. So if you guys do want to look at it.
So you just did a really quick Photoshop while you were on the show, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't even know how to use Photoshop, but I wish I was that talented.
Shit, bro. That's
he
something.
Just took a picture of his own hand. He's like, "Look, it's white. It's not even. You can tell it's fake."
It actually looks like the same company that makes the blow-up dolls. Like you can see the seams. Or is that's just the glove, I guess.
Well, they're saying it's a compression glove, but that doesn't look like a real hand.
No, it's like, at least that picture makes it look. It looks like a shitty mold. They just cut off and they didn't trim the edges. Anyway, I still don't buy it. I don't buy your Photoshop magic tree.
Bullshit, man.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's sad. So I think when he lost his hand, he was like, "Fuck it, man. I only live once. Let's get paid."
Yeah.
Is this pre-Shawshank?
Oh no, that's gotta be. I think I remember the
like
accident.
Recently, this was in like the
couple years ago, right?
2000s. I think it was like the late 2000s, or late 2000s, like later, like in like 2008 or 2009.
Wasn't it around the time where wasn't he like cheating on his wife or something like that?
Yeah, and I think he married.
Me, I told you he was jerking me off last night.
No, I know.
He married his like step granddaughter or something.
Step granddaughter. So it's like, you know,
he's getting cooler and cooler
normal.
by the minute.
Yeah, that's normal shit. He's got a fake hand, fucking daughter, extended family kind of shit. He's a family man.
He's got freckles. I mean, it's cute.
I mean, when you can't clap right anymore, who gives a fuck? Right?
Maybe, yeah. He's to marry his 27-year-old. Okay, she's a costume designer. Look at me, I'm just ruining the podcast, getting on the internet because of Morgan Freeman.
That's right.
Yes, 27-year-old granddaughter. That's who we married.
Granddaughter.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
They weren't blood related, but that was his granddaughter, and he married her.
So weird.
And when he married her, he still had his left hand. Here's
well, you see, where I'm from, we like our relations.
Yeah, clearly. I see that forehead.
Here we go. What, I'm sending you a picture of Morgan Freeman.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, Jesus.
It's just going to be like pictures of Morgan Freeman. What were they talking about on the podcast? I could have watched it live, but...
The next thing he says is, you know what, Morgan Freeman got one ball?
Speaking...
Hold on. I'll Skype you.
Don't worry, I got a picture of his dick. I think you could see the artificial ball. It's just like half of his body is tan because of the fucking...
Morgan Freeman had a hooker bite the tip of his dick off. Wait, let me get a picture.
I think it's got a compression ball on that fucker.
He had his dick fingers, right, Keith?
I hear that works.
I heard that works too.
I don't. I think
really good joke about it.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, I don't know if "really good" is the right set of words
joke
to use.
About it that gets laughs sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes I tell it right. Other times I'm just like, whatever.
Depends on how many Coors Lights Keith's had.
Sometimes all you need to go.
Magic number 2.5 is it.
There is a magic
too
number.
many.
You feel like you're sweet and entertaining, but really you're just entertaining yourself.
Hey, man, as long as I'm laughing.
That's right. That's right.
That's all that matters. At least somebody's entertained.
Somebody is entertained, for sure.
Usually.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it's Keith, and when the crowd turns against him, maybe not.
I haven't had too many crowds fully
said Morgan Freeman is his own grandpa.
Yeah, that's my new bit where I just do Morgan Freeman impersonation while I'm fucking my granddaughter.
You ever wish your grandpa would just marry your fucking ass already and get it over with? Dick hands?
Maybe. Maybe I do. Maybe I want to marry my granddaughter.
And maybe your grandpa's Morgan Freeman, so he has a cool voice and can attach a dick hand to him. That's pretty cool. Right? All right, my name's Keith Spurlock.
I think everybody that was streaming the podcast just turned it off. You're like, what the fuck?
Please do it. Just the Morgan Freeman cast.
Yeah.
The Morgan Freeman cast. I like how we were talking about like androids and the future.
Yeah.
And
Have you
with Morgan Freeman's fake hand?
All right, now we got to. All right, to change the subject.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
You know what's coming, Ray.
I know what's coming multiple times into a large cylindrical tube.
You know what's coming.
Of financial benefit to our guests, potential financial benefit. Do you like financial benefits? Let me ask you this, Drew Sample. Do you like being benefited financially?
Yes.
All right.
It's like making copious amounts of money in small amounts of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you like 12-year-old boys? Just in general. Are they cool? Do they annoy you?
Not to have sex
I
with.
do
No, that's
avoid
disgusting.
children because nobody in my family has kids that are that age. So I'm like, look at myself. I'm like, I should probably stay away from people's children.
Well, this is good because you don't have to deal with any of those people. So that's another plus there.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Time to play the IDP's favorite game. How much will it cost for you to get dunked into a dunk tank full of cum?
Yeah. I should really have some kind of
There should be some
sound.
music for this.
Yeah. As you introduce
It's the
that,
cum
I'm like,
tank.
yeah, the cum tank. So
Now here's the scenario. Let me set this up for you.
do-do-do.
I'm an eccentric millionaire, right? I got money.
Already, you got to take some time, and in your head, you got to imagine Keith Spurlock is an eccentric millionaire. Get that in your head. You're like, this guy.
He really could be though.
He is in a bunker right now with Android blowjob doll heads.
So I have all this money, and I have this. Let's call it.
A love for carnival games.
But it's got a carnival dunk tank in it, and it's filled with semen.
And
Don't ask where we got it. Just know that it's clean.
But it's human semen, not horse semen.
Yes,
Absolutely.
It's human semen,
Organic.
and it's all STD free. This
Yes.
is the scenario. We got
Fresh.
a whole dunk tank. It's not all like moldy and shit. It's all fresh.
Absolutely. We
And,
have
there's no
robots.
cameras.
We have slave robots that clean it weekly.
There's no cameras, so this isn't. No one else is gonna see this.
Mm-hmm.
How much is it gonna take you to get dunked in the cum tank?
$50 million.
Jesus Christ, man! We're talking about like
$1
realistic numbers here. We're real life.
Yeah,
$50 million.
I think for me to get dunked in a cum tank, I would need to make sure that like I could take care of my family for generations. Like I don't think I would just
For
be like,
generations.
I'm going
Right now,
swimming in cum.
This is just something you have to deal with in your own mind. It's not like you're in a public square and we're gonna dunk you in a bunch of cum. No. This is something you're like, oh, all right, fuck it. I need to make some
Yeah,
money.
I
I'm
mean,
sure
nothing
you got
less than
bills.
$1 million, man. I don't think I'd ever be that desperate.
I mean, okay, like, haven't you ever been in a threesome with another guy and a girl, and he just pulls out a little bit too soon, accidentally shoots cum on you, and you're like, you know, that happened. You kind of roll with it. You finish on your own. You clean yourself off. And that was just for the experience of having sex with your buddy, high-fiving with a chick in between you two. You know, and that's not $50 million. I'm just saying everybody's kind of been in that scenario, and it's not been a big
never
deal.
done that. No, Ray, I've never been in that scenario where I've done that. I'm really sorry, man.
Never done the Golden
I do
Gate?
know some of my fraternity brothers back in the day that did that type of stuff, and
Free, you know, and they survived. Nothing bad happened to them. You know, the monetary benefit of $50 million sure wasn't a part of that deal.
yeah, but I mean, like, so like for free, I didn't do that. So I didn't even do that and have somebody get his jizz on me. You know, I've never done that. So I don't think that would be I don't think that'd be enough money for me, guys. I mean, I think, okay, I mean, for me to even consider, you'd at least have to have 7 digits there. I mean, it'd have to be 2 commas for sure.
But see, I think you're really underestimating how easy this money is to make. I mean, you could wipe away. All right, let's say
I could wipe away my self-esteem for sure.
Yeah, but that's only. I mean, it would be
You
embarrassing.
still have that?
It would be embarrassing if people got to see it. You know, you
Yeah,
you
no one's
peed
gonna
yourself
see this.
publicly. People saw that. You know, nobody. I mean, some people maybe, but the majority of people that still are in contact with you have no problem with it. So that didn't really affect. This is something that nobody's going to see. You know, maybe rumors float around, but rumors are rumors. We could start those right now. May have already been started. I don't know. I'm not on Twitter right now.
There
However,
was a rumor in high school that I had one testicle.
Well,
I
that's
don't,
probably the
but,
truth.
I mean, whatever.
yeah.
I went to school with this kid, and he really did have one testicle, and his mom used to call him one nut in front of his friends. It was pretty
Oh.
fucked.
Yeah, it's
His
kind of fucked up.
his mom sounds hilarious.
So we're not gonna make up any names
as this
for you.
millionaire, I'm gonna say, hey man,
Yeah, man.
I give you $100,000. Think
How
about
much-
$100,000 tax free.
Yeah, I mean, and I'd be like,
that-
well, you're a millionaire, and you get off on this weird thing of seeing other men getting.
Yeah,
dumped.
but you don't get to be a millionaire just fucking giving all your money away. Jesus Christ, I want to stay a millionaire and not break my bank. I didn't say it was a billionaire.
You're not the only one getting dunked in a tank. Clearly, we clean this shit out and do
I've
this
got a yearly
lot.
budget. I can't
Yeah.
just get all this cum just for you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just wouldn't do it. I'm really, I didn't mean to kill this segment of the show, Keith, but
I think you wouldn't do it for $100 grand. $100 grand?
$100,000.
That's money.
All right. How much money do you make a year? You could make that much money in
A
10
day.
seconds.
Well, yeah, it's a day of quote unquote work where the only tough part is a few seconds of falling down and then getting out and showering off.
yeah, I don't think for any price, guys, I'd get dunked in the cum tank for sure.
Wait, so no price now? We
Well,
went
I
from,
mean, nothing less than $1 million.
So
Wow.
from 50 million down to 1 million.
Well,
You're
I mean,
holding
you would
strong at 1
If
million.
you were like, I'd pay you $1 million, nobody's gonna know about it. I'm just want to watch it for my pleasure. I'd be like, it's fine. It's kind of like when that whole movie, like, hey, I'll pay you $1 million if I can have sex with your wife.
Yeah, but that's like intrusive. It involves another person. It's
Yeah,
a very
exactly,
intimate thing.
Exactly. So, and
This is very benign, very passive. Nothing's gonna happen to you bad. You're not getting any diseases. And that was $1 million for having sex with another chick's wife, other dude's wife. This is just getting dunked. This is like a day you mark off on the calendar that you never have to think of again. Never have to think of that day again. Your pockets are stuffed full with $1 million, let's say. $1 million. And you get dunked in the tank. And we get to take one picture.
You're still not winning me over with this whole plan of dunking me in a tank filled with other dudes' dead babies.
You don't have to. First off, they're not babies. They haven't even come in contact with an egg. Trust me, none of these guys have come in contact with anything that produces eggs at all. This is very clean, very organic, very safe. It's supposed to be really good for the skin as well, I've heard. Say to other women. That's what I said.
I don't know, Ray. I don't think I would sign up for that class, man. I think I would opt out. I'd probably find somebody for you because I think that's funny. But you know what? How about this? How about you give me a finder's fee and I'll find somebody to do it for cheaper.
Oh, well, we've already found people to do it for cheaper, so we
Yeah.
don't need to pay you to do it.
I could just get random
Jesus
homeless
Christ,
people
yeah.
to do it for $50, man.
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
talking about?
I don't think I would do it for anything less than $1 million.
Wow. Nothing
I
less
think
than
that
$1 million.
we-
That seems
we have
very
a-
unrealistic. That seems very unrealistic.
Yeah, you're the highest priced. You think the most of yourself out of any of the guests that we've had in about the last.
Ew.
Now, okay. What if you shaved your beard first, so you didn't have any of the cum sticking to your face?
Oh man, yeah, cum in the hair is
Yeah.
that's so hard. That just doesn't come out with water. You got to really scrub at that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would do it just for yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm not in a position where I'm hurting enough where it's like, man, this cum tank money is really gonna save my Christmas and stuff like that. So,
Well, if it did, you would have $1 million to save your Christmas.
Well, so we're considering $1 million now.
But that's $1 million involves at least one picture, and I invite my millionaire friend Ray over to also watch.
Clearly, I have to be there.
That's $1 million though. So
I have to
two dudes watching you, one picture, $1 million.
We just want to get a picture with you.
And there's one drop of AIDS blood in the tank.
One drop.
Yeah, but that doesn't really matter. AIDS dies like as soon as it hits the air.
Okay, then two
and
drops.
A little bit of Ebola.
All right, Ebola, that's a little bit scarier. So that's definitely no. Yeah, guys, I think
making it worse, Keith, is probably not going to help our case.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it for anything. I wouldn't consider it for less than $1 million.
We'll give you a lollipop after you're
done. At this point, I'm just thinking about hiring someone to fucking anesthetize you, and then we'll just throw you in the tank, and then
it's gonna be like you're
out in the desert, all covered in cum.
We're gonna treat you
for being so high priced.
We're gonna treat you like Mr. T on the A-Team when he has to go on an airplane. All right, we're gonna drug you, and you're gonna be passed out, and the next thing you know, you're gonna be laying down with a stack of $100,000 and a picture next to you. And it's
at that point, if it already happened and it happened like that, like I'd gladly take the $100,000.
Okay, so you just don't want to be awake for the scenario.
Yeah,
so that's
you're not going to
consciously
get me to do it, but I mean, if you're saying you're going to drug me, tank full of cum, drag me out, and put $100,000 next to me,
what happened to me?
All right, okay. Here's the thing. You want to know how Keith became a multimillionaire, eccentric just because he's Keith, but all of his money came from developing this drug. And all this drug does is make you feel like you're having the most amazing dream ever, where it's like an impromptu, immediate lucid dream where you can do anything you want, but the whole time you're asleep. All right, so we give you that drug, right? We sit you down on the little platform. Everything's fine. Your body's going to automatically know what happens when you get dunked in the tank. It's going to go on autopilot. You'll be completely safe. Nothing's going to happen to you. But you're going to be under the influence of this drug, and it's going to make you happy dream time. And by the end of it, you're X amount of money richer, and you don't have any, memories of the fall and the splash and the cleanup.
And we'll give you a nose plug.
Sure. We'll throw that in for
You're never going to get me to willingly be like, yeah, let's jump in a pool full of cum.
Okay, so under these circumstances, where are you at?
You're trying to get me to agree to something I'm not going to agree to. I mean, it's just not going to.
That's what makes it so fun. Shut up.
It's not.
You're going to do it.
I'm not going to do it, man. I mean,
no, but it's like only one picture, and you can explain the picture away. It's like, oh, they did the whole fucking Nickelodeon thing, but they couldn't find the green dye, so it's just said I didn't know once.
Slime you with jizz.
They slime. It's just slime. It's not jizz. It's just slime. You can't prove it's jizz. There's no proof of that. You can say those things, and the whole time you won't even remember. You'll be like, that was amazing. I just flew through New York like Neo. It was cool, bro. And I got I got $50,000.
You guys are just.
And I got $50,000. It was amazing.
$50,000. The price
of the tank, son. This is what we're getting at.
Yeah, $50,000. You have an amazing trip where you can do whatever you want. You're in your own little matrix of playground of whatever Drew Sample wants to do. Not even mentally.
You just ask me about 12-year-old boys, and you're like, Drew, you can be in a playground, right? You like children.
I'm just throwing things out there. You don't have to you can do whatever you want, bro. This is not me telling you what to do. This is me giving you options of things you could do while you're under going through the process. Wake up, $50,000.
You lost me now, right?
Yeah. All right. So anyways, guys.
Killer.
So Keith moved to Houston in January.
Have I mentioned how my microphone fits very tightly in this thing? Have I mentioned that yet?
I heard it fits really tightly, and mine doesn't. We tried before the show.
Yeah. I just wanted to,
Just because your hole's too loose.
You have a loose hole.
That's why I won't even do the dunk tank.
Yeah, so even any price. So what about you guys? What's your price, Keith?
Oh man, we've already talked about this.
It's pretty low. I don't remember exactly. Like $10,000.
It's pretty low.
Like $2,000. Yeah.
It's like, well, I mean, as long as I get to put it on my YouTube channel,
nobody sees it. Nobody's gonna see it. So it's like
all
that's
I'm
an
saying
easy
is
$10,000.
people on Fear Factor drank a bunch of animal semen, and that was for a chance at $50,000.
Yeah, but I'm not like
So
that desperate for fame
$100,000
either. Like, I'm not like, hey, put me on TV. You know, I'll do anything to get on TV. I want to be on the magic box. I want people to think that I have it going on because I'm on TV drinking semen, competing to win $50,000. Like, that's not. Like I said, man, I'm not going to sign up for that. Like, that's not.
Yeah, but this isn't a show though. This is just a private thing.
Yeah, exactly. You know? I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not like either way. Like, I'm not going to be like.
He thinks too much.
I don't know how I would like come to meet guys that are like, hey,
well,
you're
next time in Mr. Drew Sample won't get a little other people's cum on himself.
Yeah, big time in Drew Sample won't swim in jizz. Won't go dunking in jizz, you know? What if it was a hot tub? You know?
I mean, you're a tall guy too. You might not even go all the way down. I mean, I don't know if we've even designed it for people your height.
Oh no, it's adjustable. I've made sure of that.
Never mind.
Eccentric. What do you think? I'm going to cut corners on this?
He's like, actually, the floor gives out, and then underneath the jizz, it's actually feces.
It's kind of weird because we put a lid on it, and the lid just kind of falls down every time somebody drops in. It's really heavy. It's like steel.
What if you were a magician, Drew, and it was actually, instead of being dunked in a tank full of water where you could drown, it was a tank full of semen? Yeah. What do you think about that now? $50,000 now.
You won't believe where we hid the key. We had a sperm swallow it 3 hours before, and you just have to look for the fat sperm floating around. You just got to grab that with your face and then unlock the lock.
All right. Do you go for the cum tank or do you get raped by Bill Cosby?
Oh,
for $50,000.
Well, you have a choice with Bill Cosby. I mean, Bill Cosby.
Well, again, this is
profile his people.
You resist where you're getting the chloroform and the zip tie, and you're going in the tank anyway. So it's $50,000, raped by Bill Cosby, or cum tank.
Well, I don't really have a choice in either matter from the sound of it. Either you guys are going to drug me. And
it's your choice on what you want to make $50,000 not wanting to do.
It's your choice on how severe we make the penalties for you not coming up with a better number than $1 million.
It's your choice. Both of them results in you getting raped, then thrown in the
dumpster. Fine. I'll start considering it at $500,000.
All right. $500,000, $500,000.
That's gross, man. You cut it in half.
Yeah.
Yourself, you sick fuck.
Morals. Get some
Twitter. Just kidding around.
Get some God in your life. Yeah. Go read the Bible.
God damn it.
Maybe I will.
This fucking guy's sick. I knew I'd get it out of him, you queer.
That's just a bad situation either way. I've learned enough. Like, I've been to enough comedy shows. I've watched Bert Kreischer like do stuff like that, right? Like
jump into cum tanks.
No, but
what a joke thief, bro! I knew it.
He'll set people up during his shows, and he'll like bring them in, so everybody's watching them both, and then he and then he'll ask him these two questions that neither of them are good. Like, okay, well, so let's say you're in a prison, and and these guys are forcing you to, to suck on their dick and all this other stuff. And it's just like you're always in a lose-lose situation. So
yeah, but
you're I guess I'll take the dick so I can be like, you quit.
But the big difference is, the YouTube thing, the Bert Kreischer thing, those are all things that are accessible to the public. This is going to be a private event. That's the whole thing. Right. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. It's similar, but it's very different. It's very different.
So what do you think about Ferguson?
I go through this same problem trying to... No, I don't, because I don't give a shit. Anyway, let's just change the subject to something a little lighter. Less.
Anyway, so something a little bit lighter. There was riots in Ferguson last night. Police were beating their batons on their shields to intimidate people. Watch those... Did you guys watch Old Boy? He had a stream going. He's like a big... he was like big and like doing the Ustream for the whole thing. And then one of the looters runs by and steals his phone, and then you see sky sidewalk, because the guy's running with his phone.
Didn't see that.
Still on Ustream.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
So did you see that live, or you saw that after the fact?
Actually, I was watching the RT stream, and No Susquehanna was watching that. He's like, "Holy shit, this dude's phone just got stolen."
That's crazy.
It's crazy stuff, man. I think it's funny to me that now everybody's like outraged. It's just like people. It kind of actually like it's annoying to me because it's like I'm always saying cops are fucked up. I'm always saying fuck police, do this, and it's like people when it's convenient for them or when it's popular to get on like a bandwagon and say, oh, this is so fucked up. Our cops are so fucked up. And it's like, yeah, they are. Like, why are you guys surprised that the justice system would really let that happen? Like, what is surprising about that? Nothing to me. Like, yeah, if you're black in America, like, you are definitely at a disadvantage, especially when it comes to the police.
Especially
like
in
profile.
Ferguson, too. Ferguson's kind of a unique place that has a history that kind of adds to the whole drama of the thing, the whole.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also like, it's like when people get mad when they elect a president and then the person lied to get elected. It's like, are you really surprised? Like, why are you so surprised? Like, why? It's like, it really is kind of like the definition of insanity, like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Like, the grand jury didn't found him innocent. They said there wasn't conclusive evidence. It's like, well, no shit, man. The news was getting you ready to watch the riots last night. They're like, this is what Ferguson.
Why would they announce it at 9 at night? Like, that's just, it's like, all right, everyone, have you got your pitchforks? Have you got your torches?
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone's home from work.
I mean, it's just another, it's probably
this guy's going to go up and talk for 30 minutes before he finally tells you what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. And it's just funny, man. It's funny that it's like people want to pretend like, they want to get all upset and get on social media and talk about how disgusted they are. And then they're going to go back to their jobs, pay their taxes, continue to fund the evil that is making shit like this happen. And now they're pretending like, oh, well, I'm actually upset about this. This is not right. You know what, guys? I think that their government's corrupt. It's like, well, no shit, it's corrupt. Or it's like, you know what, guys? I think elections, they might be rigged. It's like, oh, you just now figured that out? Or some cops might.
I don't think that they have our best interest at heart.
Yeah.
Really.
But I mean, you think about it, like that could turn into something different. Like when somebody first starts smoking weed, and all they do is like spout out the benefits of smoking weed, and it's like if all the weed smokers are like, well, duh,
but
fucking idiot.
Chill to say that.
I know, but it's like
that's a different thing.
But you got to understand that, like, if at least their attention has been piqued. The idiocracy of the majority of people that watch TV and news. Like, at least their shit got piqued in a situation where, they have this moment where their eyes are open to stuff that everybody else has known about for a long time. But then instead of like fostering that, it's like to call them idiots, which, most of them are. It's at least there's an opportunity for some of them to kind of be more educated and then not fall back into that. Because if that never happens, then they don't really have that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, like, this stuff happening, I mean, it's good, but at the same time, I mean, like, they knew that people were going to be looters. I mean, it's like, it just reinforces what's actually going on. Like when people are looting and hurting each other instead of, ganging up on police, which I'm not even like, I go back and forth about whether I think it's fucked up that police can assault you and it's a felony for you to defend yourself like that. I don't think that should ever be the case. Like it's interesting. Like when you look at like anti-gun people in England, like John Oliver. John Oliver's a good example because he's always like, he hates guns. He thinks we don't need guns, blah, blah, blah. And then, but at the same time, he's consistent in the sense that he's like saying like, well, cops shouldn't have guns too. And like, he'll go crazy about the Ferguson police and so I guess I'm okay with that because there's not a conflict, but like, everybody's views in this country are so conflicted. Like they'll say, like people that are anti-guns will say, well, you know, we shouldn't have guns, but of course the cops should. And it's like this undying love of the state, or this blind appeal to authority. That's I guess that's what's the most concerning thing to me. And then there's, I mean, it's such a weird thing. Like I was on the UG earlier on like the other ground, and it was like just different like tweets and stuff from last night. And there's like the racist white person tweet. There's the racist black person tweet, and then there's like people that are just making jokes about it because it's ridiculous. Like it's like it's ridiculous because people are so surprised, and it's like, well, why are you? I don't know. Like, I understand what you're saying with like the whole weed smoking thing, but I just don't.
Yeah.
I guess for me, it's like there's been so much shit that's going on. We have the internet now. Like, people continue to just put their head in the sand and act like everything's okay.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not. Like, nothing is like. Look, like, I think the sooner people just focus on like empowering themselves, the better off they're going to be, because you can't control any of that. I can't change any of that. Like, I could get upset about it. It could have ruined my day today, just like somebody who's like a fucking Browns fan. It ruins their day when the Browns lose or something like that. It's just like this distraction and this constant, like, the way we project ourselves, the way like humans project themselves on like things that they see on TV is just, it's just interesting to me, man. Like, I don't, it's hard because I've been so removed from it for so long. I'm not trying to say like I'm awesome or anything. It's just that
you are, though. You're pretty
It's
awesome.
fucking, he's already big time just on the cum tank.
Yeah, big time, dude.
I mean, I'm glad I'm sitting down because I'm hard as fuck. So keep going.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like for me, it's harder for me to understand. It's harder for me to relate.
Well, I mean, you got to think like the information that people get, the propaganda, information, news, whatever, TV that people get fed, most of the people get fed is like very one side. It's very black and white. Like, you're either pro this or anti that. When every situation in reality and in the world is there's a lot of gray area in between. There's reasons for things to be in a certain way, but there's also reasons for things to be in a different way. And there's also, you know, various options in between. So it's like, you know, you get people and they get fucking all up in arms over something, or not up in. It's like, it's to distract us, to get at war with each other so they can just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, it's a Hegelian dialectic. Like, it's, you know, divide and conquer. I mean, that's the whole point of it. Like, you know, that's why there's people like Ron Paul and there's people like Rand Paul. Like, they're supposed to be the voice of the people, but then they still go and do. I mean, they're still human.
They're politicians, and they still have people paying for their things. And, you know, it's fuck. Oh, it's, you know, for people like us who are in our 30s, we don't have wives, we don't have kids, and, you know,
we don't watch a lot of. I mean, we don't watch a lot of TV with commercials.
Yeah, that, and we're not like highly invested in our day jobs
I
either.
don't have cable.
None of us have cable.
No, and we're not highly invested in our day jobs, so we're not like going in there having the you know, water cooler talk. You're not getting fed all the ignorance that everybody else is watching TV. So here's
the thing, though,
we're highly separated from everything.
With it being the age of information, like you were saying, and how like I always hear Rogan and other people talking about there's so much information, this and that. Here's the thing. A lot of people, like you were saying earlier, but have their heads in the sand, don't care. Even young people. I work with a bunch of 20 to 22-year-olds. And yeah, they're on the internet all day, but they're just on Instagram and Facebook.
Selfies, looking at other people's business. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. I mean, we have all the knowledge in the world at our fingertips, and instead we'd rather just get on Facebook. And,
I mean, even on this podcast, we thought, you know, Jet Li's mom trained him.
Yeah.
It wasn't until our guest Drew Sample went and looked it up on Wikipedia.
Well, I mean,
we also thought that Morgan Freeman still had two hands.
Yeah.
No, he does.
I still wholeheartedly say he does. So whatever.
Yeah, I think another thing too is it's like, you know, critical thinking skills. I think it's easy to, like, something that happens a lot is, and I mean, I've been a victim of this too, is like, okay, so you get out of one group think and then you just find your way to another group.
You just find the group think that fits best with you. Like,
yeah, but even then, like, it's just like, even like when I do that, it's like it's still like too, like, it's like, I think, like, I like what Thaddeus Russell says, like, really try to like operate off, like, you know, self-interest in the sense, and like what is actually the best what is for your best interest.
Yeah.
And so I think that for your best interest is like you figuring out what makes you tick, who you are, what you like, what you dislike, trying to, you know, rid yourself of contradictions. Like, you know, like I think, like, you know, I think that's important, man. I think it's like, for me, it's really important that, like, for my self-esteem and for my, you know, self-respect to rid myself of contradictions. Like me being able to live up to what I say I'm going to do and actually do it is so important to me, because if as soon as, like, I don't do that, it's like it's a huge withdrawal out of my emotional bank account. And it was something like before we all started this podcast thing that we do, that I don't think any of us really still understand, because, like, I was talking to My Novelty the other day, and he was talking about, like, how weird is it going to be that if we do have kids and we do have grandkids, they can go back and watch and listen to all this stuff. I mean, we're really archiving our lives for, like, public. It's kind of a weird thing, but to, like, get onto that and, like, what the fuck was I even saying? Jesus Christ. All right, guys. Well, I was going to make a point. I completely forgot what I was saying. But
I was on the ride with you, man. I was like, let's go down this alley, bro.
Let's go down this alley. Yeah, but okay. So what we're doing here, which we don't understand. So what I was doing before, like, I had goals, I had dreams, and then I started getting a paycheck, and I started, like, you know, I started making decent money, and it was very quickly I started to forget about what was important to me.
Yeah.
And instead, I started focusing on, like, work. And, like, so many people's lives and self-value is based off of what they do to pay their bills.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think so once you get over that, like, once you get over the fact of, like, having your value be based on what kind of job you have instead of what your goals and aspirations are and what you're doing in that direction of your goals and aspirations, you're not going to be, like, you're not going to be able to move. You're not going to be able to move forward. You're not going to be able to, like, divorce yourself from that fucking slave job. And
I'd rather live a modest life doing what I really want to do than force myself to do something that I hate just so I can have a nice car.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying. It's like we don't have those things that would cause somebody to kind of not focus on the world at large, you know? Like, we're not married, we don't have kids, and we're not attached to our day job. So we're in a very unique situation where outside information we have not only have access to, like everybody else, but we have time to access it because we're interested and we're humans, and we don't have to worry about, you know, a wife or, you know, kids or whatever. We don't have, like, responsibilities that would distract us from giving us the time to pursue things that we enjoy doing, like podcasting or comedy or art, but also, you know, to just explore the world. Not that I do any of that shit, because I hate the fucking news. Keith is usually the one that brings up fucking news to me as he gets a blowjob from his robot dog.
That's like another thing though too, is like doomsday porn. Like I was talking to doomsday
porn?
Yeah, so I was talking to the host of like the School Sucks podcast, Brett Venat, and he was like, "So why do we do it?" Like, because it's like, for me, like, I definitely, and Keith probably does the same thing.
Why do we do what?
We, like, will watch fucking, like, how bad things are. We'll look at how bad things are instead of, like, being optimistic about things.
Now, real quick, what I thought you meant by doomsday porn was people in bunkers having sex.
No, that actually sounds
perfect.
I was thinking of, like, Doomsday Prepper spin-off.
Oh my god,
and I was like, I didn't know it was such a big thing.
You live in SoCal. Make this happen.
What do you mean?
Like,
I live in
like
SoCal.
Doomsday porn because it's like
I get what you're saying now, that it's like we love to see things that make us paranoid about our existence.
Well, it's not just that. We search for conflict. We search for conflict. conflict. Like we constantly want to have a conflict. Like it's everywhere. Like
it's why you go your day job. Most people's day jobs are like going back to high school.
Yeah,
people love drama. People love negativity.
Especially if you work in retail or just anywhere, man. Like it's so hard and like
podcasting.
I'll be at work and I like get in people's shit. Like why? Just stop complaining. Like look, you can't change it. The only thing you can do is focus on this. Like focus on
what do you have control over?
Yeah, I've been trying to be optimistic though about stuff. Like I mean,
every time you sit down to take a shit, you're like, I'm not gonna get a hemorrhoid.
You will look for the doom and gloom, but a lot of times I'm like, yeah, but you know, shit's gonna get better. Like
shit's actually really good right now.
Yeah,
man.
it is.
It really is. Like my friend Kevin, he's got this website. It's like I think it's like radicaloptimism.org, and he just actually talks about a lot of things, like even like global warming and all that other bullshit that people spout out. That's really big on Vice and JRE now. Like we're destroying the earth and all this shit, and it's just like, okay, so let's say we are. It's too late, so it doesn't matter. So, and let's say you want to argue the other thing. I mean, like, we don't really understand the way this fucking planet works. Like,
yeah. Well, but it's like the mentality of the people that say, like, okay, we're not, tend to go the opposite direction. So they're like, let's just not even give a fuck what we're doing. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely like, pollution is definitely a big thing. And like, but I think like, I think it's, I mean, it's, things are going to keep, like, we're not going to stop the oil companies. We're not going to. Like, they're going to keep doing what they do. Yeah. Like, Keystone's been this big fucking deal for, like, almost
10 years?
Yeah, 10 years. And guess what? My family, as, like, my grandpa worked on the Alaskan pipeline. My family's my family's been, like, I'm here right now because of the oil companies.
They've been laying pipe for years.
They have, and that business goes up and down all the time. And right now it's really hot, and it's gonna stay really hot. Like there's this Draft House Films has this documentary that they just released, and it's about this town in North Dakota, and all these people are moving there for work. And this guy was opening up this church for people to stay if they didn't have cars, because they had no other options. So all these people are coming to North Dakota, and this is North Dakota. So the locals there are obviously not thrilled about this, because there's a reason why they like living in North Dakota. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, it's just the way, like look, you can't control it. You just have to adapt to it. Like people are gonna be, I mean, like, and even like look, people are going to make changes because it's going to benefit them to make changes. It has to benefit them, because people, like, look, I mean, like, eventually when it really starts to affect people, we're going to figure something out, because that's what we do. We adapt. I mean, that's,
you can spend all of your time complaining about all the things that are wrong, or you can spend all of your time trying to figure out ways to make them better.
I mean, that's why we have entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
they solve problems with a profit.
That's one of the things that that when, you know, the economy went to shit and they're like, we need to fucking bail out all these different companies. It's like, well, I don't. Do we really need to have Ford?
They made really bad decisions.
Ford was really, exactly.
Fill in the gap.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too, it's like, look at a forest fire. So a forest fire happens naturally. And forest fires started getting really bad because humans,
according to Smokey the Bear.
Yeah, exactly. So because people tried to like fucking manipulate it, but like it's always like there's always a forest fire because it's cleaning out all the old shit so new growth can come. I mean, it's something that naturally occurs in forests. It's a weird phenomenon, but there's science. But anyway, so it's part of nature. So look at the economy the same way. Like we were talking about androids and stuff earlier. So like factory jobs, like especially where like Keith and I are from in Detroit, like that's what people have lived on. I mean, that's what my dad just retired from a factory.
Took all those jobs.
Robots are going to continue to take jobs. And
why shouldn't they? They should.
Exactly.
And there's a couple porn stars sitting around fucking complaining about how robots are going to take their jobs too.
But in that relation with all the good paying jobs going to robots, that almost means you have to pay people in the shit jobs more.
Yeah.
Like people, I love the thinking of economists where it's you can't raise minimum wage because that'll ruin everything. But they don't realize that these people who are making minimum wage, if you give them more money, they dump it right back in. So people have been making more money.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the thought process of not raising minimum wage. Like,
why is that?
Because there's a lot of reasons why. Like, it really. So I mean, like,
so the people that work minimum wage and work full time but still have to be government subsidized, when the company's getting tax loopholes and making billions of dollars.
Raising minimum wage only benefits large corporations. Like, it doesn't.
It'll benefit. Well, I guess if inflation makes everything else go up.
Yeah, it doesn't. Still. I mean, like, raising minimum wage has never really helped anything.
I don't know, man.
It made it harder for kids to get jobs. It's made it harder for think about all your first jobs, right? You learn skills from those jobs. Like, those jobs aren't designed for you. I mean, like,
those jobs are the only jobs left. Like we're talking about. We're about to take all the other jobs.
Nobody owes you a fucking job. Like, that's the whole thing, man. I mean, like, the thing is like, what we need is people to be creative. We need people to innovate. We need people to start opening up businesses, or like, I mean, that's why like stuff like this whole new share economy, like fucking Uber and Airbnb, like stuff like that is popping off, or locally sourced restaurants. That's humongous in Columbus right now. Like, small businesses, food trucks. Like, I mean, that is
90% of restaurants fail in the first year. Like, you have to be able to get the loan to have the capital to start up. Well, like, without people getting money, innovation is just an idea.
Well, but here's the thing, man. I mean, it goes back to, I mean, like, you're not gonna be able to get a loan for your idea working minimum wage.
Well, okay, true, but most small businesses, I mean, I don't think big businesses are the ones that complain and kind of force kind of the dictation of everything that's going on as far as how much they pay their employees. I mean, Walmart's kind of a big example as far as them making all kinds of excuses why they can't afford to pay their employees good, but then, you know, their benefits and things like that are very government subsidized kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's the culture of the United States of America to go to school and then go work for a company.
Yeah, I mean, we've been brainwashed.
We have to
do. I mean, like, none of us
change the culture. You know,
look, like, none of us were trained. Like, none of us are prepared for what the economy actually is, or what the future actually is for anybody. Like, look, nobody, like, you're not, a 401k is never going to help you. Like,
no.
That is never going to, that's never going to be your answer.
It was never meant to be a retirement. It was meant to be a replacement of your pension. So
it was a supplement of your pension. Yeah. Like, it was meant to supplement it. And it's just like, you know, and I understand what you're saying, Keith. Like, I don't want you to think I'm like just saying, like,
you can think it if you want.
No,
no, you can.
Like, I understand exactly what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that, like, we think that way because that's what we were told. Like, go to school, get a good job, get a good grade, get good grades, get
work
a good
for
job,
company.
Benefits.
Work for a good company, a strong, stable company.
Yeah, but it's like, you don't have any leverage when you work for a corporation. When you work for a small business, you work with those people.
Yeah.
And let's say you are too valuable to them to let you go, they're going to pay you more money if you're going to leave.
Yeah. Which having a higher...
Like, but like, when you force someone to say, well, you have to pay them this much money, like, that's taking away the incentive for you to work hard, in my opinion. Like,
would you abolish? Would you say, like, in your point of view, would you just say there should be no minimum wage?
Yeah, man.
Because every big corporation, and that's where all the jobs are, would go, well, fuck it. If we don't have to pay people anything, and we're the only jobs, they'll work for 50 cents an hour like they do in China.
You want to see mass layoffs of senior employees at big corporations?
Boom.
Drop minimum wage. I mean, they're already doing it. The fact
We're
that
not going to pay you shit because why? Because you should feel lucky you have a job.
Big
and that's what I went through right after the economy crashed.
Yeah.
Every factory took that leverage and went,
but
we're going to fucking take all your benefits away. We're going to make you pay more for everything. We're not going to give you raises. And you should be kissing our ass that you still have a job.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's.
But I think it's the wrong argument. We're having the wrong argument. The argument is not whether it should be. People should get paid people should get paid an adequate wage for what they do so they can live comfortably. The fact of the matter is, our whole culture, the United States of America, our culture is not set up to promote people to do their own thing. It's not set up for people to be entrepreneurs or artists. It's not set up for any of that. I mean, yes, we are in the land of the free and the home of the brave, but when you look at like what it's like to be a creative person on their own trying to do their own thing versus a multinational corporation that there's so many fucking cogs to the machine of what the fuck is wrong. You can't just point at one thing. Because you point at one thing, it's like if corporations actually paid the taxes that they should pay, if they didn't have all the loopholes they had, where like you have these huge corporations like Google and Walmart and all these other corporations that pay a very minimal percentage of what they have because they have like offshore. I don't even know what the term is, but it's like if they actually paid the money,
smart investing,
then then we could afford. Then I mean, it's just the money situation and everything is only designed for big corporations to get bigger and big corporations to let small corporations kind of do whatever they want. But it's so difficult to have a successful business, and even more difficult
to crush them under
compete.
Their heel.
It's like I'm not going to start.
But at the same time, so it goes into. It goes deeper. What are regulations? So you should ask yourself, well, what are regulations? So regulations are just corporations that have dictated what laws should be to benefit themselves. That's all a regulation is. So
sometimes there's regulations to protect humans, though, too, which I see corporations violating constantly.
Yeah, they definitely do. So but I think but it's at the same time, like, you vote with your dollars. I mean, now information is out. We can know stuff about people. Like, we can communicate with one another. It's not like it was like, believe me. Like, my grandpa worked for the coal. My great grandfather worked in a coal mine. They didn't even get paid money. They got paid vouchers that they had to go to the coal mine owned store to buy stuff. Like, I understand what you're saying. Like, believe me. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, I don't think we should have government. I don't think we need police. I don't think we need any of that. I don't think we don't need taxes. It's like once you free yourself of the idea of preserving the government or thinking the idea that we can fix what's broken, and you let that go, and then you realize, okay, so let's start at ground zero. So let's trust one another, right? Mm-hmm. So here's the thing, like you were saying, you can't fund your entrepreneurship. Like, a bank's not going to give you a loan. I don't want a bank to ever give me a loan for anything.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to pay for everything. So how do you do that, you might ask? Well, if you have a good enough idea, people are going to give you money and people are going to fund you to back you to become successful. And I'm not going to say that it's easy.
Although
it's really simple, but like your cum tank idea, right?
Yeah.
You find the millionaire. He's going to donate money because he's like, I want to see dudes get dunked and
don't need donations. Keith is an eccentric millionaire already, but I get what you're doing.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like anything. It's look at guys like Duncan Trussell. Look at guys like my friend Brett Venat with School Sucks podcast. Like, Brett lives completely off his podcast. Why? Because he's bringing value
for sure
to their everyday lives, and he's just asking people like, look, I know most people that listen can't afford to donate, but they donate anyways.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. So I think it's like, the whole idea of crowdsourcing, the whole idea of all that stuff. We have so many resources at our fingertips. And it goes back to like the whole idea of social networking and how people use it incorrectly. But if you use that correctly, Like you really don't need minimum wage. So look, like here's the thing, like raising minimum wage, like here's the thing, it's going to help someone out like Keith, who actually has goals and aspirations, and Keith isn't going to want to work that minimum wage job his whole life. But what about all the people that do? What about all the people? And look, and I get like not everybody wants.
A lot of times there aren't other options, is what I'm saying. Like,
no, I agree.
In a place where all the jobs are minimum wage, but no one can afford to.
If you want it bad enough, man, you're gonna find a way. Like in that.
No, I agree with that, but I'm saying as a whole, as a nation, there's just
okay. Well, hold on. First off, if we delete
poverty leads to crime, crime leads to fucking
people are gonna find a way to make money, and that's why drug dealers are able to make a shitload of money in ghettos where they can sell crack or whatever's hot, heroin. And they can make a shitload of money.
Look about.
But hold on, if we get rid of the government, right, then if I have a good idea, that doesn't stop anybody else from copying exactly that good idea, and then all of a sudden you have the fake Apple store selling fake Apple products selling to everybody, and then there's no legal recourse because there is no law, there's no government, so you can't. There's nothing to do. So then all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have. I don't believe in intellectual property. Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, like, but at the same time, but you can't
to come up with an idea.
Yeah, but
because
it's like
what matters is
I don't care about
in your dream. Is like, look, like
but if you can't make money off it, what good is it?
Because like, look,
if I have $1 million or if I have $1 million idea and I make one prototype, but then this dude over here who already has $5 million sees it and goes, "That's awesome," and then just bankrolls it and then sells it himself, then I'm fucked. He's already got the market cornered on it. They want one of my ideas. Fuck it. And then you got to come up with another $1 million idea, and you never, sometimes most people in general don't have that one great idea in the first place, let alone have two of them.
Well, I'm not. I mean, so I'm not really. So just because one guy's doing it doesn't mean that people don't want options.
True.
Like that's the whole thing. I mean, like there's always going to be options, and the market's going to determine. Like people are going to determine what they want to buy. Like, look, we have knockoff Apple stuff in China and everything else like that, but people still want the real Apple. I mean, that's the whole thing.
No,
so I think even
I don't live in China next to a fake Apple store, so I don't know what their prices are. So maybe I do want it. Because I know a lot of people bought the ghetto Apple computer, the fake Apple computers. Yeah. So people do want that shit. It's just. I mean, here's the thing: you have big companies, right? There's nothing if there's no protection for the little guy, which the government does at one end of it. The other end's complete fucking run by businesses. But at the other end, there is still some protection for the little guy. There's no way I could ever come up with something like if David Cho, huge rich artist, anything I come up with, he could just copy, and because he's David Cho, he could just he'd make $1 million on it, and I'm still trying to sell shit on Etsy, which everybody would at that point say,
so like you mean you're like doing Carlos Mencia when he was ripping off small comics, and then other big comics were like, oh, this guy's a cunt, and then they called him out, and then his career died.
But he wasn't ripping off he was ripping off like bigger comics though. He wasn't like ripping off only.
He was ripping off like Ari, who wasn't a big comic.
Well,
though, and a lot of other
true. He's doing. I mean, okay,
he was and stupid. That was just as fucked up.
But what if he? How long did he get away with just stealing jokes from not big comics before he got caught? So he just got stupid.
He got away with it for a while, but eventually he did get caught.
Eventually, because he started copying. Like people realized he was stealing from like Cosby.
They didn't take that money away from him, though.
No, they didn't.
I'm just saying
that's the whole thing. But
in a situation, Carlos Mencia would still be on Comedy Central. He would have his new special of getting what it's just. There are benefits to having a legal recourse for things. I mean, I understand the majority of the government, the way it's set up and structured is shitty. There's a lot of problems with it. But at the same time, the idea of just starting from scratch is an amazing idea if we had way less people. But there's no way you can have this many people. Like if everything was started from ground zero right now, there would be chaos. There would just be ultimate chaos. But there's ultimate chaos now, but we just have the illusion that there's not.
I don't know, man. I look outside and no one's shooting anyone where I'm at.
Yeah, but I mean, just so that's the idea. So we think because we have the government, that's the reason why.
If they got rid of speed limits, that's the start of chaos. Just right there. People aren't going to agree to just drive safely through certain areas. Like a school zone or some shit like that. Which
they might. I mean,
some will. Some will.
Kid in a certain area, I'm sure. That community is going to react.
There's already people that do that, and it's illegal. So it's like it's not stopping the act. But if there was no laws, then there's no reason to even, like, I don't care when I'm driving down a street that I've never driven down before. I don't know what's on the street, nor do I care. But if there's no signs on the street, then that alert me to what's going on.
But why do we need the government to have an idea of well, this is how fast we should drive here?
Because I think it's more of we need an unbiased kind of a thing. Because then what do? You put one person in charge of it, and they're like, okay, how can I make money doing this thing? And then businesses are horribly corrupt as well. Businesses take over. They take advantage with the law that we already have in place. They already take advantage of things. So why, when they have no barriers, what would keep them from taking more advantage of us?
Oh man, if you took away all the government right now, all the people with the shitload of money that run these big corporations would just start it'd be like Marathon Oil, the state.
Well, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. I think we have all
this money.
I think enough of us would come together. And we would be able to say, no, we're not going to support.
Because no one agrees on shit.
There wouldn't be laws in place that say, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that to subvert that corporation like there are now. Look at, so we were talking about cable. None of us have cable right now. So why is that? Because we all know ways that we can still enjoy the program, the content on cable TV without actually purchasing cable TV, right? Mm-hmm. So we naturally do that, and there are laws in place to try to stop us. And guess what? It's still happening.
I use Netflix.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
But if those laws were not in place, I would have servers of content. It's the fact that there's the potential for something bad to happen.
But there's enough people though that already do have servers with content.
Yeah, but those they are taking their own risk. I would have a server of content, you know what I'm saying? But I don't, and it's because, it's also the same reason why I walk by a car that has, I think it's impossible to know how anybody's going to act when there's no laws, considering we've been raised for, multiple generations where there are rules in place.
Yeah.
To completely strip that away, unless you'd have to gradually start stripping things away. It's gradual, almost as gradually as things kind of got into place.
Oh man, if you pulled the rug out from all at once, it'd be Walking Dead without the zombies, real quick. Yeah. People be like, hey, we got a compound, we got a lot of guns, we got a lot of food, and once we run out of that, we're gonna take someone else's shit.
I do think that if that did happen for whatever reason, and there would be chaos, but at least after the dust settles, we would be able to figure out a better system.
Yeah, for sure. But what I'm saying is like what I'm not saying that a system look, what we have now came out of no laws and nothing else. You know what I'm saying? That's everything we have now came out of anarchy in a sense.
In the U.S., you mean, or?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the U.S. was started because of businesses. It was all a business proposition.
Yeah, it's always a business proposition. It's always how can I benefit me? So that's how it starts.
Not me. Business. I don't think of business as a person or the owner of the business. Because businesses, all they want to do is make more money, make more. There's no concern with people.
Said corporations are people too.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm saying that it's it wasn't anarchy. There were businesses have rules.
But even profit, so even a long time ago, so before there were kings and everything else like that, one motherfucker was like, "I'm the king now. You're gonna listen to me."
Mm-hmm. Genghis Khan.
Yeah, there's so much different. There's
you don't know history very well, Keith, but that's okay.
Well, what I'm just saying is that I think we'll be all right. Like I think like I have a lot more faith in people than like I'm a lot more optimistic about
I watch
I am
Doomsday
too.
Preppers, man. I like to
Those
to be
people
optimistic.
are insane. Those people
But
are insane.
in my mind, when the shit hits the fan is when my optimism goes completely away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, fuck, it really came. Not,
So, but
I think we're going to make it through this, guys.
So it's like I guess it's just a management of fear.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, the likelihood of something crazy to happen is just like is a potential future that's in, you know, who knows how any of those Doomsday Preppers are gonna fucking react to anything.
Yeah.
To anything.
Well,
They're probably
like,
gonna end up killing themselves.
Well, they've
and
been
then they're
doing
gonna be
tactical maneuvers, practicing
Bullshit.
for years.
Bullshit. Those
So they're gonna
families
shoot
are not
themselves by accident.
They were fucking doing that shit for TV.
why-
They're not
so-
doing training. They're not in combat situations. They have zero experience shooting people.
Wearing
So
hockey
why is
masks.
it, like why is no laws? Like why does that equal doomsday?
Oh,
I
because
don't
people are fucking horrible. People
Because
are
that's a
horrible.
great title. That's a great title. I mean, aside from Doomsday Porn, which my brain was just like, fuck yeah, I need to go see if that's, you know, I need to go look that
Well,
up.
what I'm saying is
prove
like
anything.
so the way things are rolling, like I mean, like with technology and everything, like I mean, look, like going back to robots and everything else like that. Robots are taking more and more jobs. Eventually, we're not going to need housekeepers because we'll all have our family robot that cleans up, cooks food for us, takes care of us. So I guess like the fear of there being no laws means, well, you know, how am I supposed to eat my food? How's this? Like,
I'm not, well,
people, I mean, like infrastructure of business, I think is going to keep things rolling. I mean, just because there's no laws doesn't mean there's no infrastructure.
true.
Isn't that kind of like the illusion? I mean, it's like when you removed communism from Russia, people were saying, well, how are we going to have bread? The government gives us bread every day. How are we going to live without what? How are we supposed to have bread without the government? It's the same mindset. Like,
But they're not like anarchists now. It's not like it's not like there's no government in
and I'm
Russia.
not saying that. I mean, like, and I'm not saying that they are. But what I'm saying is that like the more and more you remove government from situations, it tends to get better.
For sure.
Like,
in certain
and I'm
situations.
just gonna say, I mean, look at all right. So your shirt, the culture high, right? Like,
yeah.
isn't it? So like a lot of that stuff that you guys are saying, isn't that what they're saying? Like, well, if heroin's legal, people are just going to use it all the time.
No.
No.
There.
But
Here's
that's
the
the
thing.
thing,
It's
but
not.
that's
It's not
the
an
same
all or nothing thing. There's like there. First off, I do agree that laws should be in place, or not in fucking with drugs. Everything legal, right?
Yeah.
But there should be the money we spend on fighting, quote unquote, the war on drugs. That money should be replaced into caring for people and the rehabilitation of people that want to get off those drugs, right? If we reallocated that money to something else, but if we had no government, then there's no laws on drugs and nobody gives a fuck about the people that are high, which
I don't. But people are still going to give a shit about that.
some
man.
people
What
will.
do you do to people
Some
that kill
people will.
if you
Some
got no
people will.
laws?
That's going to handle itself, man. I mean,
Because
look,
then
killed my
there's
family.
vigilante justice, and that's going to get way out of hand.
maybe.
Because that's just going back to lynch mobs, and fucking people are just going to be like, fucking pitchforks.
yeah, but
No, I mean,
it's-
and every time
there's going to
something
be
bad happens.
a lot of people dying. If there was zero government, there'd be a lot of crazy shit happening because
There'd be
people
no
would realize there's
fire
no
department,
recourse.
or that all get
I don't know. That was
actually
originally
private.
voluntary before, anyways.
Not everywhere.
What?
Yeah, most places where the head of fire department was voluntary.
And they
before.
sucked because the competition would light fires, and then there were issues with fire departments being
Yeah.
fucking
Gangs in New York.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
like
there's
I said, it will work
issues.
itself out.
I mean,
Yeah, after everyone.
How is the- how
Look,
is
I'm
the
not saying
medical-
it's going to be a perfect clean slate.
Well, you
'cause
look
it's not
at-
going to
okay, well, look at-
Nothing is like here's the thing. Like,
okay.
Here's the thing. Like nothing is ever going to be utopia.
No,
But
no, for sure,
everybody
for sure.
wants.
There's not.
Press reset. Guess what? There's going to be people. They're going to organize into a government, and they're going to fucking make laws again.
They probably will. But
So, I
at
mean,
the
you
same
really
time, what
think-
I'm saying is that why do we have to have this thing called the federal government that controls all of us and dictates all of, you know what I'm saying? Like look, if there's local government, I guess if there is any form of government, I'm okay with it because I'm choosing to be a part of that community.
Yeah.
But I have no choice in this situation right now. Like I immediately have a 40% business partner at my job who gets 40% of my money automatically.
Yeah. But
like, you know what I'm saying? So I guess it's more of a like.
I agree. Scaling it down. I think the fact that we have this overarching umbrella government that kind of dictates crazy, which is the puppet master for all these corporations and really only cares about influencing their bottom line and helping them get more profits.
Getting reelected.
But at the same time, there is a need. There is a need for certain rules, you know, and I understand things would get sorted out. But even within the sorting out, even if you look at those doomsday prepper clans, there is some kind of order or structure. As crazy it is, but there's still you still have to have some kind of infrastructure. Whether you're building a business or a society, there still needs to be some kind of infrastructure with some kind of rules. Like you run a business, there are rules to that business or else you get fired.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not saying businesses aren't going to have rules.
Yeah, but the fucking rules that businesses want are, if we want to get rid of somebody, we'll just get rid of them, which they kind of can do anyway. But it's like there's no recourse. Like I would have been fired forever ago just because they just didn't like me one day, and then another day, and then another day, and then they would just
I mean that's going to happen. But again, I mean, eventually, I mean, Ray, I mean, you eventually want to just be on your own and be.
Absolutely, but I also understand the need for like that. Like I'm able to do those things. I'm able to get myself in a situation, you know, despite all of the laws and government that we have above us. Like there's still a potential for somebody to do something and hopefully get out of the you know, the day job 9 to 5 working for a big corporation teat, you know. But it doesn't necessarily mean there's a lot of options for people, you know. And not everybody, some people like being told what to do. Some people are so used to it because they've gone through school and they've kind of been they've listened to their whole life, just parents telling them what to do, church telling them what to do, fucking work, school telling them what to do.
Tells them the philosophy to live by.
You know,
they don't have to think.
Masters for
I would say if everybody is as enlightened as you or I or Keith, yes, we can eliminate. I think for a certain population of humanity, we could delete the government and everything would be fine. But there are a lot of fucking stupid people that do stupid shit, and the only reason they're not doing stupid shit is because they're scared they're gonna get thrown in jail or some shit like that. Like there are people that are only being good people because if they don't, they're fucking done.
And again, that's still the same argument that there's people that aren't drug addicts because it's illegal.
There are. I didn't smoke weed
but we
till I was 30.
still want to make drugs legal, right?
Absolutely. But that's for
it's just a consequence that's going to happen to benefit a majority of the people.
That's an educational thing. That's also like a reallocation of funds thing. There's like you have to restructure our society to make that the right thing to do, but doesn't necessarily mean there shouldn't be that government support there, just in a different way. It should be support.
How about this? Can we fix what we have now?
No.
Are you talking about the cum tank thing where he was stuck on
broken,
$1 million?
Man, that's like the trap is to think that you can fix it.
I've got an idea, and tell me if I'm off. I'm not saying to fix it, but it's definitely an idea that I was running through my head.
Oh Jesus!
All right.
Oh
Elections.
Jesus!
No one votes in elections, and if they do, and a lot of people that do vote aren't even they don't even know about what they're voting on. They'll just go down the line, and if they're Republican, they vote all R's, or a yes on this or a no on this. And voting's not, people don't even get the day off work, so some people can't even vote, or they have to go out of their way to get an absentee ballot and everything.
Legally, jobs are supposed to let employees go vote on elections.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
I'm just saying.
I thought the government was supposed to take care of us.
Now here's my idea. All right, we nix corporate funding for politicians. Every politician has a state allocated amount, and you can make one promo, and it's all going to be fact checked. The day of the election, everyone gets out, and you have to sit down and watch however long, everyone's pro and cons, and it's all fact checked. Now, here's the kicker that makes everyone do this.
Everybody would shoot you in the head, and that would never happen.
You can't get your taxes back unless you go through the 8-hour session that one day and learn about what you're voting on and vote. You also can't get government funds.
First on taxes back, your tax refund is only because you've overpaid on your taxes. The government's not being like, hey, good job. Here's some money back. Yeah. Just like over the year, your business has overpaid us. And you've proven that they.
Here's the thing. If you don't go to your little voting thing, they're like, oh, you paid too much on your taxes? Whoops. It's ours now because you didn't want to fucking participate.
All right,
I guarantee a lot more people. If that's the
I might.
A lot of people that have kids, they get that $1,500 every year. If you said, "Hey,
they
don't
get
go to this fucking voting thing,"
that
$1,500, it's in our pocket. That way, there's no funding from
encourage voting.
Big corporations.
You're still saying that, like,
it'd just make everyone more informed and make everyone vote, and then I think that way more things would probably get accomplished.
So what? We still have the same corrupt two-party system. That's really a one-party system.
Yeah, I don't like this. I'm on Drew's side on this.
No, because this will make it easier for independents to run.
No, it won't. How does that? That doesn't make it easier for anybody to run.
It won't,
because they doesn't have the big money backing of corporations.
Well, there's always going to be a way, man. I mean, like, if you study the Koch brothers and this crazy dark money thing that I would like to just learn so I could do that shit myself. But
I think
really, if you want to change the government and our government, you have to be rich and you have to put a ton of money. It doesn't cost much to buy a politician, especially in a small town. I mean, what would that cost? $50,000? It costs a lot less than it would to jump in a cum in, you know.
Now that you say that, we set up the IDC in a way, right? We set up an IDC where we have podcasters in every state. Okay.
Yeah.
First off, that's step one. Step one, podcasters in every state.
Yeah.
Then, you know, we grow listenership, we grow everything, and then we do a Kickstarter, right? We do a Kickstarter, 50 different Kickstarters, each one getting freaking raising money so
and
they
it's
can
called
be
the Washington Redskins.
Is that what they did? Jesus Christ! But this will be the association for people that don't give a fuck about the government and don't really follow rules well.
And then we buy an island.
Yeah.
Because at that point, that's our only option.
So, okay, what's my... So, in reality, I was really playing devil's advocate a lot and trying to get you guys...
I know, it's all right.
...ideas and everything. This has been fun.
I know.
So, but really what the key is just to be... I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about the news, right? So, what can you control? So, you can control yourself.
Yeah.
And you can control things locally. So, I mean, everybody's like...
Maybe
the whole thing of maybe, but like the whole thing of, you know, we should really pay attention to our local politicians because that's where you can make a difference. Like, I don't know if you guys had people say you on that bullshit.
Yeah. I think that's been a kind of a talking point ever since Bush was in office. Everybody's like, fuck, just pay attention to local government.
Pay attention to local government. You know, that's the only thing you can really make a change to. So it's kind of the right idea, but it's really becoming locally resilient. So, you know, when I say I don't want police that's owned by the state, I don't want the state, but what I do want is I want us in a community to handle all that. So, you know, if we go back, like my idea is to become locally resilient. So how do you do that? So you got to handle your own money. You got to handle your own healthcare, you got to handle your own protection, you got to handle a lot of stuff. And so it's like getting in that mindset of instead of like, because I mean, when you look at that and you're still thinking you can fix what we have, it's never gonna make sense to you because you still want to try to fix the broken system. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I've been there, man. I've been there, like, you know, trying to get people to vote, and I've done a lot of silly things. Which were, I mean, they're not really silly because I learned a lot from it, but...
Oh, I don't vote.
Yeah, I know you don't vote, Keith. I mean, that's okay, and I still
Just
love you.
in this past 2 elections, but every election before that I voted, but
why'd you stop?
I think Keith votes.
I got mad.
I vote that Keith votes.
But why'd you really stop? Right? Because it was pointless.
Because
I got mad.
Yeah, you got mad. You're like, this is stupid.
Have you ever voted?
Jesus Christ!
Have you ever voted?
I voted for this guy for Hope and Change. And,
all right. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the
like,
only time I voted, and I was like, "Wow, that really doesn't fucking mean anything." At least, although at least he's not as scary.
He's black.
I swear, if the alternative got into office, it would have been even.
It would have
scarier.
been way worse.
It seems like it was two shit sandwiches. Just the other one tasted a little bit.
The
more
one
sour.
had frosting on it.
Yeah, the other one.
You're like, well, I mean, if I'm gonna eat a shit
sandwich versus a giant douche, personally.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
I have a little frosting on my shit? They're like, yeah, okay, a little frosting. You're like, all right.
It's like, well, this is sweet.
So scaling back, so you go to like becoming locally resilient, right? So what do you do instead of a bank? Because you don't want to have banks. You could form your own credit union. You could form your own currency. I mean, it's like, try to become an agorist in the sense of like
companies are doing that. They have gift cards. They're their own currency.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's what it is. You
it
buy
really
a gift
is,
card.
Yeah, but I mean, like look at
And that's why they're
like,
all doing it.
Punk rock libertarians had this great article about agorism in the Trailer Park Boys, and so like you look at Ricky. So Ricky
Hash
was
coins.
Yeah, it's hash coins, right? So, but what's different from that? Like pot coins that they're using in California with the dispensaries, Bitcoin. I mean, there's a lot of alternatives to really help you launder money. And there's nothing wrong with laundering money from the fucking evil federal government. Like, they've made you think that it's this bad thing because they're trying to make you think that they're the good guy, but they're really just they're really just the most successful mafia. I mean, somebody sent me a message. I'm gonna shout him out. He's this badass artist. He's on Twitter, Smiley Die Happy. But he was saying, and I agree that when you really get to the root of it, like the government's really private. It's controlled by private people. I mean, you look at George Soros. He's on one side, and then you have the Koch brothers on the other side. I mean, it's still rich people battling rich people. Yeah. And using poor people to fight their fights. That's all wars are. I mean, like you look at the bullshit in Israel and Palestine. I mean, that's clearly just rich people fighting for natural resources. The same with the Ukraine. I mean, there's oil there. There's a reason why Joe Biden's son is now magically like an executive for this largest Ukrainian oil company. I mean,
wasn't this right after he got fired or let go of the Navy for doing coke?
Probably. Oh, I didn't know that happened to him.
Bush was a huge. Bush Jr. was a
Biden's
huge inspiration.
Son failed the drug test in the Navy and then resigned. He was like a high up. So and he's like, oh, whoops. I guess I'll go work for Ukrainian oil.
And if cocaine was legal, it wouldn't have mattered. They'd be like, good job, go back to work.
Yeah.
I bet he got a lot more done that month too.
Yeah.
But still, it goes back to, we were talking about the divide and conquer thing earlier. So, I mean, how is dividing and conquering not putting us in school, not making us think that we need this thing called government, or else what's going to happen? How are the roads going to get built? Drew Sample, he's one of those guys that hates roads because he's against government. You know what I'm saying? Like,
who would build the roads, though?
Oh, no, there would be companies that build roads, but you have to afford the roads to come to your house.
Their trucks would drive on them, but then you would have to pay to drive on their roads.
Not necessarily. I mean, how do you know you're going to have a new road?
Everything would be a toll road. I guarantee it. People don't invest money that they don't want an immense.
What makes you think you're going to have a road?
Nobody pays. I mean, you vote with your dollars. If you vote with your dollars,
if there's only one way to go, unless you got a fucking 4Runner with some big ass wheels, you ain't getting there. So you're either going to pay or not go to that place.
A different road to compete with that road.
There'd be so many fucking roads.
Fucking building the railroad system. They're like, I want to get there, but I want to take your road. Yeah. So I'll be there in like 12 years when I build this road.
So yeah, man. So there's gonna be hiccups, and there's gonna be some pain, and there's gonna be some adversity along the way.
Drew, you should have fucking gone down on your goddamn dunk tank number.
Yeah, if you'd have just dunk tanked it up, you'd have the money to build these roads, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
That doesn't make sense either, Keith, but that's all right. we're trying to get them down
You
in
could
numbers.
fund these roads with your cum money. I know it.
If you had only gone down in the amount of money you asked, you could have had so much more money to build roads.
I could have.
That doesn't
That's
make any
very
sense.
true.
That doesn't make any
I'm
sense.
eccentric
Well,
as
if
a
we gave
millionaire,
you-
and I would have spent the money I saved on building more roads. So you would have helped.
He would have
really
not
do
paid. Yeah.
believe though that, like, on a more serious note, all the freedoms that come along with no government are going to overweigh. I mean, yeah, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be cunts. We know there's going to be cunts.
Dude, the pollution would just.
I don't think so, man. I mean,
Oh,
look,
for sure.
Why wouldn't? They already try to break the
Companies
rules
are
now.
already
Because
destroying the world.
pollution
Destroy-
happened because government was assisting large corporations, man. I mean, like, it's the same thing. I mean, like, because there was no competition because the government wasn't letting competition happen.
And there would have been way more if there was no government that they had to cut through a tape to do it. I don't know, man. All I know is I see the company I work for breaking laws all the time.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit.
I just see three
Did you
people
actually
right
work
now
for one-
talking a lot about stuff we don't know a whole lot about.
That's true.
We're like, I know, but if we just change it like this, or fucking get rid
CEO
of it.
of your company makes less money than the CEO of the Susan B. Komen Foundation.
I don't know
Gee.
what that is. But they definitely make more money since they've started breaking laws.
Susan
So,
B is like Susan B. Anthony is, not the same.
Yeah, I don't know who that corporation is
The
either.
Breast Cancer Awareness Corporation.
Oh, well, that's
Susie
That's
Nonprofits.
Non-profits are another fucking bullshit
is.
thing in,
Like
a lot of
NFL,
ways.
They could pay some
Love to own a
tax.
non-profit, never pay taxes. I mean, so
Yeah.
here's the thing. So, I mean, my alternative, until this government's there, is subvert it. So find out all their loopholes and just exploit them. I mean, that's
As
what
an
the Koch
individual,
brothers do.
I would highly recommend that for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Why
look,
can't
the
podcasting
government's not going to
support-
go away for a long time. So as much as I like to have these conversations and pretend, I mean, all I can do is
It's a
control
fantasy.
me and,
Yeah.
become locally resilient, find some other people that want to buy some land and
We've
build a
been thinking
town.
about
Yeah.
this all wrong, guys. We've been going about it all wrong. Podcasting is its own religion.
No, Keith. You don't
Why can't
understand.
we start
You don't
that?
understand. Even nonprofits get an income. All right? Podcasts don't get incomes. You can't be a there's no money coming in to not profit
Do you know
off
how
of
much
it.
people would join our podcasting religion, though?
We are already nonprofit, bro. We are under profit. We
No,
are
no, we're
we're-
called no
negative.
profit.
We're called-
we're a minus profit
Yeah.
organization. We're a deficit.
Net profit.
There's a reason companies aren't knocking down our door to advertise. You know, this is not
We
a
have a
thing.
new sponsor.
We do have a new sponsor. We do.
Sponsor.
Kind of. I mean, it is a sponsor.
I've been plugging my IDC
Fuck the
code
coupon code.
on everything, man.
Cool,
I'm giving
man.
you some love, Ray Taylor, saying,
Thank you.
what else do you want to promote, Drew? Oh, go to the Inspired Disorder Collective. You can contribute to the podcast with codename Sample. Don't even know if that's the truth, but you should still buy Ray Taylor's art.
I think it should be.
People are typing it in going,
If you
I ain't getting no
go,
fucking
there you
savings.
go. For confirmation, go to the Sample Hour page on InspiredDisorderCollective.com. Click on it. There you can subscribe to the Sample Hour and
Yeah,
get the
dude, Ray's
plethora
done
of...
so much.
Do it.
Ray's done so much for us. Like, I remember I had 0 downloads until I became a part of the Inspired Disorder Collective.
The
And
robot.
like 10
The
people wanted
robots.
to get
You
it.
found the robots. Yeah. No.
and then I
it's-
had to keep saying, "Hey Ray, it's
Yeah.
not tweeting out my podcast, bud."
There's a
And
reason
it's like,
why.
You know why, Drew? It's because you try to upload 5 at the same time.
That too.
You ever
Well,
thought about spreading them out? I was like, "That's a brilliant idea, Ray."
yeah, the system. Well, that has changed. There's no more IDC feed, so it's like the RSS debacle that there was a lot of issues. You weren't
How
the
were
only
you doing
issue.
that, by the way? Were you just creating one RSS feed and
Yeah,
taking
I was using
everybody's-
Yahoo Pipes, and in conjunction with FeedBurner, and doing a lot of fucking craziness. And I actually kind of figured it out towards the end, but I was like, fuck it. It's just like so much. It was constant maintenance that I had to do. So it's like, I'm not even gonna do that. It's just gonna be a website. People have links. They can, you don't need to have.
The feed was cool, but yeah, but it pulled. It gave The feed was designed to give everybody their downloads.
Yeah,
still.
before
that was the cool thing about it.
Yeah, before I was manually downloading people's
manly.
shit. Manly.
Before you were manly.
I mean, both. I was manually downloading shit. Like I was like fucking,
fucking
rip my shirt off. I had my hair coming fucking full fucking fluff, and it's like fucking downloading this shit. Fucking gonna upload it.
He had a loincloth on and everything.
Fucking,
like,
you know how hard it is to find a loincloth in San Diego? Not that hard. You just go down to OB during the fucking farmer's market, and they got a whole booth of them. But most people, it's very difficult.
Great example of agorism.
Yeah.
But it's still a business. Like, you have to pay. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Get the fuck out of your town. That's right, you are.
Yeah, I am, because it sucks.
See?
Keith?
There's no other jobs, right? So what are you doing? You're moving. Get the fuck
to a
out
place
of
where there's a lot of jobs.
Well,
and
he hasn't moved yet. He has to
That's
get
right.
enough money to move first.
Texas is as close as you get to a lawless state.
That's a pretty cool state. Everybody
except for all
they
those
have
laws
religious
about
law though.
San Antonio is one of the fattest, most sexually satisfied cities in the country. Thank you, Mind Novelty, for that stat.
All right.
That's actually a real stat,
Antonio.
by the way.
San Antonio.
So Texas has 3 of the fattest cities: Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas.
Yeah, well, that's insane.
You know what? I was in Houston.
You weren't everywhere in Houston,
bad.
Keith. You
There's
were there for a
millions
few
of people
days.
there, though. That's
I
just-
saw them all, dude.
I know you did, but you don't
I was
remember
there
them all.
for like a week, and I went door to
I
door.
was there for like a week. I saw all 5 million.
All of them.
Keith knows all
knocking
about
door to door,
Mexicans.
I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
how fat?
Dude, Houston's cool though. I like their carpool lane. That's brilliant. Like people literally, if you have more than 2 people in the car,
Yeah.
you get another highway to drive on, and there's nobody on it. It's awesome.
Oh, it's like the Skyway.
That's everywhere.
Yeah, it's the Skyway too, and you look down on everybody else sitting in normal traffic.
If you don't like bridges, you don't want to drive on this.
Keith.
And I know a lot of people that are like,
Yeah.
I hate bridges.
You should go on the Coronado Bridge. That's a nice, scary bridge for people that don't like bridges. Anyway, let's end this shit, guys.
Oh,
Right.
so let's take time to remember
All right.
past members of the Inspired Disorder Collective, all the podcasts that didn't make it.
Oh,
No, I'm just
Jesus.
teasing.
Okay. It's like this.
A moment of
This
silence.
is going to be a sad moment. All right.
We'll have a moment of silence for
All right.
everybody that.
A moment of
Do you
silence.
think that's
Everybody from the old days started their own podcast.
But
Not-
do you think it's
yeah.
kind of weird that like, but they make great they're like my favorite podcast guests though. But a lot of them just don't have time. Like they thought podcast is cool, and then they got into it, and then they're like, you know what, I got other stuff I want to do with my time.
Yeah.
I like podcasting. I like being a guest, but I'm not going to do this.
Yeah. There's a lot of reasons I think a lot of people didn't hold on. Like I'm sure there was a lot that were like, I just want to do this so I can talk to people that I've heard on podcasts. And then there's some people that were like, wow, doing 1 episode a week is a lot. And then there's like, oh, there's just more work than I thought with putting out a podcast.
you have to keep paying
You know,
for
my least favorite thing about podcasting is when I'm uploading it and I have to do a description. I fucking hate that.
Yeah,
It's the only thing I don't like.
Yeah. There's a lot of things I don't like that could be better. Cox Cable. Every time I try to fucking upload a YouTube video episode to YouTube, constantly they zap my fucking modem and I have to unplug it. Everything else uploads fine, and and I get emails from them saying I'm going over some imaginary data limit. That sucks. Skype
Sucks
doesn't always
cocks.
work perfectly. Sometimes software needs 2 clicks to do one fucking thing. I don't know. People change, bro.
We're
They do.
2.5 hours. We got to stop this shit.
We don't have to do anything, Keith. You can keep going.
You can't keep going.
Shit, go all night.
Extra long episode of the Inspired Disorder podcast.
Absolutely.
Guys, thanks for having me on. Everybody
Yeah.
listening, please go to my page on the Inspired Disorder Collective. It's created by this awesome man named Keith Spurlock. I'm just kidding. So
That's barely your name.
go to the Sample Hour page, and hopefully there'll be a Sample Hour website. If you go to samplehour.com, you'll see the Sample Hour, and that's it. So until then, go to... And I could build a website too. I just don't fucking want to.
Dude,
So I'm really sorry.
I
We'll talk. We'll talk.
I know,
Ray.
I know. It's kind of a crazy time right now. But okay.
Oh yeah, I know.
Sure.
Just Thanksgiving and all that shit.
Yeah, just.
By the way, Best Buy already has tents near me. People waiting.
Oh,
to
nice.
go
There's
there
a
on
lot
Thanksgiving.
a lot of businesses started their coupons early. Their Black Friday early sales.
Yeah,
I think
bought 2 TVs for less than $500 today.
Holy shit.
I actually set someone's tent on fire today in front of a Best Buy. It was kind of fun.
That's fucking awesome if you did do that.
I did. I was like, hey. And they were like, what? And I'm like, your tent's on fire. They're like, what?
Anyways.
I believe that.
Look at Ray Taylor's art and buy it. Codename Sample, contribute to my podcast.
Do that.
I'm also, follow me on Twitter at Drew Sample. I am at the Sample Hour as well. And tune into me the last, I think it's the last Sunday of every month for Live Free FM. So if you go to livefreefm.com, my friend Nathan Frazier is the host. So check him out as well. And that's all I got, guys.
Fuck yeah. Drew motherfucking Sample.
That's right.
Fuck yeah.
Bringing the anarchy to the Inspired Disorder podcast.
I love it. Somebody needs to bring fucking anarchy to this place. I used to be punk rock, and now I'm just like, I don't know. We need fucking government. What happens if the roads go down and I get a splinter in my finger? It's gonna be really hurty. All right.
That's the progression: anarchist, Democrat, Republican.
Wait.
No, I think. Well, I went from Democrat to libertarian.
They're all like fucking Raiders to Chargers to Broncos to it's like they're all different NFL. Fucking teams. They're all labels for like shit that doesn't properly identify their groups. Like there's people that want to be libertarians just so they can shoot people. Yeah, and there's people that are Republicans that just want to shoot people.
There's people that are libertarian and Republicans because they think they identify with that the most.
Yeah.
Keith Spurlock one on Twitter, and just Google me.
Google him because he's very.
Because I'm the number one Keith Spurlock on Google.
Very confident.
Who was the other Keith Spurlock again? Didn't we try to figure this out a while ago?
He was a dude that was this eccentric millionaire, and he had this dunk tank filled with cum. And he used to pay people. And he died.
So Keith Spurlock on Twitter.
He lived in Houston.
No one.
He lived in Houston.
It's just a dude who's squatting on that. And
Keith is hoping to take his identity when he moves to Houston.
The other Keith Spurlock that might be the next on the search is like a black dude who sings and plays instruments and shit.
Wow. If you search Ray Taylor, you might find...
I'm like number 5 on Bing, though. Bing don't have no love for me.
You will not find me. You will never find me if you Google
really? Ray Taylor's such a unique name.
I know. And
no, he's talking about on Bing.
That too. You can Bing me, and then I'll say thank you. And then afterwards, you'll be like, where did he go? Speaking of which, go to InspiredDisorderCollective.com and check out Tales from the Hard Side, hosted by the Izzy Rock. And check out all the other stuff Izzy does at theizzyrock.com. Speaking of which, also go to robgtv.com. Use coupon code RAY for 20% off. You get 2 shirts for the price of 1. That's the Union, the business behind Getting High, as well as the Culture High t-shirt. Buy those at robgtv.com. Use coupon code RAY for 20% off. Do it, motherfuckers. And then also go to inspireddisorder.com and check out my artwork and stuff, as Drew said. And you can use...
Shout out to Robert Garza.
It's some awesome fucking art, by the way.
Thank you, man. Thank
you
very much.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the whole purpose of the change is so I can do more of that. So
I like it, man. I like, fuel your art sales with your podcasts.
Boom. That's exactly.
I think that's a great idea.
The reason why I started doing the podcast in general is to fuel traffic to my website. So, it's all fuel shit, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know. Just see where this shit goes. I don't have plans. I just kind of do shit. Plans are for people that know the future. I'm somebody that doesn't know shit. Thank you,
Ray
Drew.
Stradamus.
I love you, Drew.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Inspired Disorder podcast.
Embedded
signals within this podcast have reprogrammed your natural thinking patterns. Side effects may include lack of inhibitions, erectile
Keith
dysfunction,
may get a
anal
blowjob.
leakage, transcendental communication with beings from 4 of the 7 primary dimensions. In the event of a tear in space-time, please keep your hands down and feet together. Any loss of life or limbs due to interdimensional travel is not the responsibility of this podcast.